Right on. And with that, welcome back, boys. Another fantastic episode of Black Thumb, the continuing story of a band of thugs turned would-be gangster racers as they work their way towards the ultimate goal, taking part in the Great Race. A massive event that takes place all across Kalimshan, from the northern end, wherein the city of Memnon you guys are located, based out of, and venturing from. Tonight, as we join, we find one of our members separated and alone from the rest. But before we get ahead of ourselves, Sean, would you do me the honor of regaling us the tale of last episode?
Sure. We open up. We're still at the shop. Sword is barbecuing his horse leg. Bjorn is rummaging through the remains of the messenger that we've just destroyed and finds a sending stone, finds lots of cash, some payments, and then finds a parchment which IDs him as a messenger with political immunity. Matt wants to bury the bodies. Somebody else wants to send the bodies back to the Draygors. Laz sets up the bus in a defensive position. The rest of the crew, Barry, Orion, and Bjorn, are in the shop. It's very hot, smelling inside the shop. Bjorn can't get the sending stone to activate. Three figures come into frame in full armor, one in blue cloak, the other two in red. Laz tells Sword to go give for Barry and alerts Matt, and the figures engage with Laz for conversation. Orion comes out of the dark. We find that the leader is Benito of the Lagrange family, I think. It's a wealthy family in town. The leader is carrying one long sword, two short swords on his back, companions similarly armed. One has a hand crossbow, there's a sword, a row of daggers, and a pouch on his bunch of spell reagents. They're all dressed for battle, but they're highly adorned. And they heard of the fight, and they want to say that they're looking for a common enemy. They want to know why the Draygors are interested in us, and Lagrange guys want to talk. Barry's helping to fill the fuel barrels, and when the first barrel is done, the second is filling. Bjorn joins the conversation, and the crossbowman says he has seen Bjorn, knows his work. He works for Hamid Pasha. And then I have here written in meta, Bjorn talks in the third person a lot. Barry joins in. Laz hears small man, big attitude, starts chuckling. Orion gets angry and fires a pistol and hits a wineskin, exploding it. Bjorn laughs with them and tries to calm down Orion. We go to a dive bar, it's open air. The guys really just don't care, they seem very comfortable. Bjorn says drinks are on the Draygors. Benito explains that he's a prince of the family, which is in textiles. He wants to know how we can work together. They're not into the race, it's not their deal, but they indicate that they're brothers, even though they don't look alike. Barry asks if we can get support for them in the race. Orion asks Lagrange to help with sabotage. Lagrange agrees to help with the sabotage, but he doesn't know where the vehicles are. If Pasha can find a machine, they can do the job and keep their stuff away. Bjorn presents the sending stone. Barry gets it working and hands it to Orion. Orion tricks them into taking fuel to the waterfront of the north end. And then, in quotes, a plan comes together, which really never did. Orion and Bjorn are carrying the fuel, want Laz to be chasing them for some reason. Orion's pushing the cart, Matt's inside the barrel, the poor guy. Laz is in the bus at a distance, like normal. Sword, Bjorn, and Lagash are following. Orion pulls up in the road. Three guys come out to the gate with Harvey crossbows. Tiefling guy comes out to meet them. Bjorn calls out that the fuel belongs to the Pasha. The Tiefling swings a huge bag of cash in hand and tells the other two guys to take the barrel. The guards move into position to address Bjorn, Sword, and Lagash. Bjorn is moving in and screaming out to them. The workers move the barrel with Matt inside, and Matt manages to fake it as they bring him in so they don't know he's there. The three gents with crossbows line up and prepare to fire. They send Orion on his way. He was about 40 feet away. Sword is posting up behind a rock for full cover. Bjorn pulls into half cover. Orion gets to his paperwork, goes back to get his paperwork filled out. Bjorn calls in the lightning. Orion heads out to hide from the fight. Matt and the barrel gets taken inside the fortification. Croman is a Draygor and he sends for help from reinforcements. Three guards move up. They get Sword and Bjorn. Sword tries to push the guard down, but fails. Tries to bite, also fails. Cut to the barrel still being rolled in. There's a pot shot at Bjorn, but he gets past. Bjorn gets laid low with a hit. Lagrange fights the guy next to him. Orion tries to pick up Barry, Bjorn, and Sword. Matt is still in the barrel. Bjorn is down. Two Draygors down. Orion throws a grenade and blows some shit up. Sword in the cart, hops down to cure wounds on Bjorn, and back into the cart. Bjorn is awake again, Laz is still driving, trying to catch up. Max stays in the barrel, now he's out of the barrel and inside the fortification. All hell is broken loose. Croman lights up the cart, horse and all. Croman gives him a chance to surrender and lights up Sword with a bunch of magic missiles. Bjorn is pinned under Sword. Ori and Lagash are fighting back. The Grosh are fighting back. Bjorn tries to heal Sword and only steals him for 4. Laz tries to swing the bus in and screws up, hits one Draygor, misses 2 others, misses Bjorn. Laz opens the door, prepares to leave, and then gets told promptly to get back into the bus. Matt is out of the barrels, now in the shadows, he's making his way towards the light, he's really in kind of a maze. We get everybody on the bus, we heal Bjorn by just basically slamming a healing potion into his face. Croman has them cleaning up the scene when he reaches out to touch someone on his sending stone. We make our way back to the fuel master, there are 4 barrels ready. Matt makes it to the iron door, and that is where we close scene. We also hear I think the last scene was the Draygors talking to each other saying that we have a problem.
That was actually a vignette, and it was Hamid, who was saying to the Vizier, "We have a problem. We may have to reach out to her."
And I'm still unconscious on the bus, just so everybody knows. I don't know how that works, but I'm still...
Not important.
Do you understand that? Do you?
But we'll get around to smashing a potion in your face later.
I mean, it's to be expected.
Yeah, I'm still not there, so I don't know any of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barry's just like...
Just make it fuel.
And we're pretty sure Lagash is never going to want to work with us now after this.
Yeah. That was bad business.
Listen, we found out where their lair is. We know the vehicles are in there. We've got an inside guy now, so could have gone better.
Right? The infiltration went off without a hitch.
Objective complete.
Failed successfully.
Lagrange was Mr. Dodgy McDodgy.
I didn't realize how much health that guy you were playing as had. He could have tanked everything.
Yeah.
Should have set him first.
Yeah, he had like 70 health.
Not a soldier, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Just has the skills of one.
Yeah.
Ben, what do you remember about the environs that Matt was within last session?
Was a cave. I was in the barrel and I was on a platform. I rolled that one, got out of the platform somehow, and then
You fell off the
I
side.
went- What was that?
The nat one meant that they were aware that you got out of the thing, but you had a successful roll to get off the platform before they saw you so much so.
Yeah, it was pitch black and they just heard me. Anyway, crap. I I think I jumped across something, I went across the bridge, and I got to like an iron door.
Yeah, you're in the pitch black walking towards a door across a very narrow bridge or something like that.
I'm sure there was like a ladder up somewhere that had like guards on it.
That's not gonna work. It's too big.
Didn't you go up that ladder and then sneak around like the boxes and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that. All right. The hell did I do with the? There it is. All right, as we were. Something like that. Something like that. Something like that. And then that. Do this. Drop it right there. So that'll work. The trees out of here because they don't fit. Alright. We can just leave that there. It's fine. I never wear fucking hoodies when I'm working. They're bulky, they're baggy, they're loose, they knock everything the fuck over. I hate wearing them. I still haven't found that halfling mini that I lost last session. So I'm kind of upset about that, to be honest. But regardless.
I hope it's not like a voodoo doll for Orion.
Right? Yeah, I was gonna use this, but never mind. Let's do this. And this. There we are. Now, if you remember last session, you climbed up.
Yep.
Alright, let's get that closer. Just like that. Yeah. There you are. So you climbed up back to the lift, or the ladder had a. There was a ladder leading up to the platform. That's what it was.
It was away from the platform.
Yeah, it wasn't next to the lift, is what it was.
I don't know what it is, but today, Snooter, you look extra anime today. I think it's the hair, bro.
I get the cam.
Nah, it's the hair, man.
He's got it in his hand, dude.
I don't know, you just got the anime flow today going super hard.
It's because we see more than his neck.
True, true.
So, Mathis is making his way up along the hewn area around the elevator, the cargo elevator that's led you down here. As you round the corner, there's the ladder there, leading up towards the top of the platform. As we come up to the top of the platform, you can see this is where the elevator is. This is going, of course, up and down, and then this all being the cargo area with whatever crates as you're about to climb up towards it. Now, let me just get some dudes out. Because as you are aware of some of the laborers, I believe I said there was 3 sets of voices coming and going, and a couple steady. And so as it were, the ladder presents itself as you're situated just yonder. You can hear a dude just above over here. And actually, I did establish that you climbed up last session, so. The camera follows you as you clamber up. Do you have dark vision? I can't remember.
Let me check. No.
Okay. So you're traveling based on the silhouettes that you can see, which is to say that it's very difficult to see. And my God, my camera. Holy shit. What is with the brightness on that? I'm just haloed out. It's like DM camera directed by J.J. Abrams over here. Shit is this? I'm just washed right out. Alright, maybe that'll help. Whatever. Anyway, so you clambered up to the, you clambered up what little of the ladder that you could see to get to the other side of this platform. From where you're situated, you're nestled behind some crates. There's a fellow here who's grabbing or putting down one of the boxes as he's about to turn around and head back towards more boxes. This guy's just shoving this one up onto here. You look ahead, you can see a set of double doors across the chamber, and you can see a guard off in the corner. The guard is aware of things around him, and at the moment doesn't seem to be doing anything other than standing watch.
Okay. Only one guard?
Yeah.
Alright.
He's on the other side of the chamber from you, next to the door.
How high is the ceiling? And are there like any like scaffoldings on top?
There's no scaffolding. This place is pretty hewn. It's more or less a cave with a hole in the ceiling. The hole itself, the whole ceiling, as it were, is more or less 50 feet above you. Occasionally it's higher, occasionally lower, and there's a few stalactites that you can see peering down.
Any cover?
The boxes, as you can see here, are situated such that they provide a row of cover leading towards the wall.
Okay. The guard's the guy with the red cape, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty dark.
There is a torch hanging over the door, and there is a pair of torches illuminating the floor at the center of the area.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is sneak all the way to the edges of the boxes, closest to the door.
Throw me stealth.
I'm loving it. I got a 10.
Any bonus on that, or is that your total?
Yeah, that's my total.
As you walk along, passing through the light for a moment, The guard here absolutely sees you pass by the gap. This fellow who's a little busy actually does not. The guard, despite this, is not quite sure what he saw, but immediately starts walking towards the area. What do you do?
There's another guard.
There's only the one guard. There's a laborer and a guard. So, guard, laborer.
Laborer has his back to me, or
He had his he wasn't facing you as you crossed this way. He's facing at an extreme angle this way. This guard was facing exactly this direction and has seen you.
okay. When he reaches the boxes, I'll try to surprise him with an attack.
The guard?
Yeah.
You incite that if you even attempted to penetrate his defenses, there's very little chance that A, you would be successful in doing so, B, that you would be able to take him down in any effective fashion, and C, that you would be able to avoid an all-out alarm.
Oh man.
Bro, just hide in the box or something.
You are literally behind a pile of boxes. You could at this point you could effectively do very little, and unless he's actively searching for you, which he will be doing in like 3, 2, 1 here, he wouldn't see you. But he's going to actively search for you. So the question is, where do you want to go from here?
Like snake.
So you went over there. So basically, I can make I can sneakily run towards the door, right?
Mm-hmm.
Since he has his back to me, turn towards the door.
100%. What about the laborer?
So I gotta face the door.
He's facing in that direction, but not facing the door. He's facing this way. You don't have to overthink it.
I'm gonna hop like into one of the boxes then.
Okay. It doesn't take much. You actually find that one's set on its side with a loose panel. It's about half full of what look to be cans of something. And as you slip inside, the smell hits you. You can tell it's just rations upon rations. Roll me stealth.
Yes! Not 20 plus 6.
As you slip in there ever so silently, you manage to get the cover back on just so, and the guard does a quick once about, looking around for a moment and checking over here. Peering over the edge for a moment, he takes a piss. After a brief moment, he walks back towards this side, stopping such. Not that you see any of that, really. You see the first bit of him walking past the box through the crack in the door easily enough. As he walks away, though, you find yourself more or less alone as you now hear the laborer walk away to grab another box.
Alright. The guard has his back towards the door, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then I'll silently walk towards the door and enter it.
Okay.
This is the part. This is the part where Laz rolls up in the truck and just bursts through the wall, right?
Holy man!
What the hell?
Matthew's pancake.
As it pans over to the scene where, you know, you guys are all driving back, it's like, are we forgetting someone?
Nah.
Yeah, that reminds me, how long is that spell effective, the suggestion, to tell me to drive? Like, do I shake that off at some point? Like, what the hell am I doing? Or...
I'm pretty sure it's 10 minutes, but I'd have to double check. Bear with me a moment, I'll tell you. and 2 shakes. And actually, we want to do this. No, that's too big. Shit, which one was it? Yeah. This is, oh, 8 hours. Oh, it's concentration, though. So yeah, the suggested course of action can continue for the entire duration. He didn't give you a destination. He just said you should drive out of here. And so for the duration of 8 hours, unless someone helps you break the spell, which would be you shaking it off with a wisdom save. But somebody would have to push this on you. Oh, actually, hold up. There's no official method for you shaking this off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's if you or any of your companions damage the target, the spell ends. But otherwise, it's 8 hours. Right on. Yeah, it's got to be reasonable, etc., etc., etc. Yeah. So there you go. So 8 hours you will be driving for, sir. Unless.
Well, no, it's not driving for 8 hours. The suggestion was just you want to drive out of here. So as long as I committed to that, then I'm fine. I just didn't know if it was, if there's anything else that went to it, right?
Yeah, of course, of course. Sorry, one sec here whilst I get another thing set up, and then. more a second, guys.
Those are useful, eh? Those blocks.
Oh yeah.
Did you just get those?
These are actually out of the Halo board game, and I've had
Really?
them for a while. Yeah. I was gonna grab another one, and I decided against it. So I didn't want to just have a bunch of bric-a-brac.
Yeah. It's a lot easier than moving those bricks around than I usually do.
For small scale stuff like this, especially, and
Yeah.
because they're all a consistent size, plus I have 1-inch squares on them, it really works out.
Yeah.
Where did I put you? There you are. So, as it were, this camera to work with me. There. As you slip around from here, you head in towards the door as the camera pans slowly to show the guard, more or less oblivious of you as he walks away. You come in towards the door, and it's got a robust handle on both doors. It's a double lever, if you will. You in sight, you could use either lever. It's like a normal door. You can just like open one side or the other. But with that said, are you just gonna open it? You're gonna roll stealth? You're gonna kick the door in? How do you approach this? I vote for kick it. I'm biased, but I vote
Yeah,
for
but wouldn't that guy hear me?
Yes, he would. Yes, he would. I'm not going to deny that. Doesn't change my vote.
Would he hear me if I was doing it normally? That's... Okay. I'll pull the lever.
Just like happenstance or stealthily or noisily? Are you making an effort to really give it a reef?
Yeah, I'll try to be quiet about this.
Roll me stealth.
Oh my god. And now 1 + 6.
Shut the front door, really?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Hey yo, bye guys.
Can we inspire him or?
Yeah, you can totally fucking inspire your companion. It's fine.
Oh god.
Would anyone care to?
Sure.
Sure,
Let's give it a shot.
Alright, roll. Make it worth it.
Come on, nat 20. Alright, that's good enough. Math 20.
Math 20? Alright.
Yeah.
You ever so quietly grab a hold of the door handle and, no, never mind. That's really not gonna work. If you go like, as you hold down the lever for a moment and the door comes loose, and it swings open ever so slightly, and you slip onto the other side. As the camera pans along to show you in the hall, you can see it's a large wide tunnel. On either side of it, the well-masoned walls glisten with moisture, and a single guard stands with his back towards you. To the left, you see a large tunnel that grows even larger as it leads towards a mason tunnel leading out. As the camera pans around to show the other side, it is pitched in darkness, but you can see the tunnel continues to the right, and you can feel a breeze coming from both sides.
When you said it leads out, do you mean it leads out of the compound?
You're not sure, but you can feel the breeze such that it would suggest so.
You feel on both sides. Is this just a regular room? Nothing of importance in here?
Looking ahead, there's a set of double doors right here as well. But the room itself is laden with the same cargo as previous. Just seems the short list is in here. Across from you sits a table of barrels that you can see, that you can recognize as fuel barrels. Meanwhile, across to your right, there are some storage chests.
I want to remind you, Matt, you know, before you end that barrel, you know, those grenades and the pew.
Okay, so I'll sneak over to the fuel barrels and like quietly place a grenade right next to it, and then book it out of there to the next room. I'm gonna go towards the left side with the breeze.
You're gonna head towards the left from where you were standing, towards where the guard is.
Oh my bad.
Opposite
Were
side.
there two tunnels for
Yeah,
where the,
one's dark and the other's not. They both have a breeze, and so one has a guard in it, and the other you can't see into.
I love the darkness. I'll go towards the dark.
All right, sounds
tunnel.
good.
I'll drop the bomb. I'll plant the bomb and then I'll run towards the dark tunnel. Hopefully that guard doesn't survive. And then I'll go take a shit.
Hey, sorry about that. As you were saying, sorry.
Your star had to use the restroom.
Yeah, fair enough. So what did he want to do? He wanted to drop grenade. Well, he's going to drop trow. He was going to drop grenade, and then he's going to go down this tunnel there. Okay. So that's going to happen. And I got to grab a grenade and put it down there. Boop, boop. Not sure what his plan on detonating the fucking thing is. Is he just running on this thing? Is that the point here?
I think he said, yeah, run. So I
Drop
assume
and
it
go.
was-
Hope for the best.
We might want to confirm that though.
Yeah, it's a grenade, so you pull the pin and then you drop it there.
No, he took us to the bathroom.
I mean, I'm down with this. Now I really feel togetherness.
We weren't sure if that was your bathroom strategy or your D&D strategy.
Just dropping bombs, you know? So while that's doing the thing, go with that. Go with that. Widen this up. Alright, something like that.
What's up, babes?
Fuck. There it is.
Do I stealth towards the barrels, by the way?
Yeah, that's all done. Oh, did you roll stealth actually?
I did now. My rolls are amazing. I got 11.
You got 11. Wow. Okay, these guys got like a paltry 13 for their passive perception, but it is still 13. So, as you slip in towards him, you start to notice that he starts to turn around.
Oh man.
Just say here, catch and throw to him.
Don't forget, you can make a variety of noises, and we still have time to move.
Guess we gotta use our brain for this one. What would be
Uh-oh.
appropriate? What would be I would make a bat fluttering noise.
Oh, what now? Bat fluttering noise?
Yeah.
That works. Perfect, actually. That said, what will you be doing? How are you moving? Where are you going? What are you doing?
Am I near any cover?
Technically, as he's turning this way, you could dash that way. He's got a helmet on, so visibility is kind of flawed that way.
Alright. Then I will do as you say. And quickly hide.
Well, careful now. I just work here.
I mean, that's the only cover I have, right? That's near to me.
Effectively.
So I could just, yeah, so. Unless you want me to just stand there.
No, it's fine, dude. I think it's fine. So I'm just adjusting rock here in preparation for your next area.
Alright.
As it were, though, you deke off and make the sound of bats. He glances, looks down the hall, and simply turns back around, and then starts walking. And you can hear his footsteps clattering loudly against the metal frame of the stairs as he walks off. What's more is, though, as you're situated there, in the darkness, you hear something in the distance, echoing ever so faintly on the edge of silent. You're not sure what it is, but anyway.
You said the guard wants to do what? What am I supposed?
He walked off down onto the platform area.
You just straight left the room.
More or less, yeah. He's walked off that way. He's actually, you can hear him just yonder.
What are the barrels of fuel made out of?
The barrels that you see up here are made of iron and wood, banded together. The barrels that you see down there, from where you're situated, are much larger and made of steel.
Let's see if I have any. Do they have like an opening? Like it's like open let it all run out.
The ones on the table absolutely do. You can see it. They've got several hoses in coils hanging on the wall next to them, and they have taps upon them. They are very much tapped with fancy metal taps that you can see are designed to have the hoses attached to them.
Alright. Yeah. Then I'll just I'll turn it on the top and let it run. Minor inconvenience. Let's go.
All right, fair enough. As the camera draws back, it shows you close the distance upon the barrels here as this fellow continues walking along towards the tunnel. It shows you quickly walking between them all, opening the taps up, letting them run. And run they do. The fluid slowly steadily starts to pour out. Starts to, and then steadily pours out all over the floor. The smell is faintly familiar. You're not sure why. But regardless, as it pours out, it's very strong. And while the first one is familiar and the second one is familiar, they're both still different from each other. If that makes sense.
Okay, so it's similar to the field that we already had, the one I stole a little bit from.
Yeah, it does actually. Now that you mention it.
Nice. Unfortunately, the container take a little bit, so I'm gonna let it run.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna leave towards the my regional destination, which is the dark tunnel.
All right. You make your way down towards the dark tunnel. As the camera pans along, you hear in the distance something very distinct. As it echoes tinny and faint and growing, you sense a familiarity with it as well. That is to say, it sounds very much like the battle bus, but different. Obviously different.
Nice. I'll remember this sound later. Get it to memory.
Okay.
I'm gonna like cautiously approach the sound.
Oh, you're not going down the dark tunnel now?
Oh, I thought that was through the dark tunnel.
No, it's the opposite direction. You're hearing it from behind you as you head into here.
From the platform or from the other tunnel?
You're hearing it from over there, the other tunnel,
Okay.
as you're headed down this tunnel.
Well, it piques my interest. And Matt says, wow, cargo room. And then I head towards the sounds.
Yeah?
Mhm.
Okay. Camera pans in close upon you as you change your mind and head the other way. As you come into view of the guard once again, you can see that he's actually disappeared down into the darkness. And after a moment, you can hear a bunch of clattering about as the unmistakable sound of some machinations takes effect a moment later. Ugh. You hear a bunch of gears roll, and you watch as something in the distance lifts up. The sound of the engine down the hall begins to get louder and louder. I don't know how this will sound. Man, that's just terrible. None of these are any good. Most of them are just really, really bad. And there's the occasional really good one. Yeah, no, never mind. Anyway. We'll have to get some better ones, I guess. I thought I had some good ones, but apparently not. As I was saying, yeah, you can see down the tunnel the silhouette of a vehicle slowly approaching. As the guard comes in behind it, this massive thing rolls in and squeaks to a halt. I'm going to move this actually back just a little ways. As the guard comes walking in, this thing comes to a squeaking halt right here.
I duck behind the wall so they don't see me.
Yeah, that may be an idea. You slip him beside as this thing comes to a stop. The guard walking his way up towards here and fumbles with the door on the side of the machine. As he opens it up, he steps to the side, and you can see him stand at attention. And as he does so there, it is a moment later that There's a moment later that a tall human, bald, with a flowing black cloak, accompanied by a rather heavy-set looking individual who's also loaded for bear, step out of the side of the vehicle. The bald-headed man simply walks past the guard with a simple nod and no further acknowledgement as he approaches and walks up the stairs. As he does so, his companion closes the hatch and then makes his way in alongside his boss. The guard turns around and begins to come along. As this guy's approaching, the camera pans slowly backwards. What do you do?
Approaching me?
He's approaching where you are, yeah.
Oh man. Did this bald head blind me?
No, it's not that bright in here. But you can tell he waxes the thing.
Okay. So, those are boxes right next to me, right?
They are?
Nice. I'm gonna do barrel 2.0. Up to the bosses.
Throw me stealth.
Okey-doke.
Don't fail.
Don't give me a 6. 16.
You managed to sequester yourself amidst the boxes successfully. As the fellow comes walking into view, his flowing black cloak and his massive stature belie his human form. As he stands there looking at the scene, he then simply turns about as this fellow walks into view. Walking past him, he looks towards this as the bald-headed man bellows out, "Why is this leaking everywhere?" The guard walks into view as the fellow turns around, and the guard says, "I haven't any idea, sir. I don't know. There haven't been any workers here." "Silence!" says the bald-headed man. "Go and see to it that this is rectified." He walks over and shuts off the tap on one of the barrels, and then walks over and shuts off the tap on the next one. And this guy shuts off the tap on the last one. And the guard gives a simple nod and rushes over towards the door, opening it up. He disappears from view. As the bald-headed man standing there for a moment, he looks around, looks at his feet. They're now covered in this stuff. And he simply says, "I will never grow tired of that odor." And he walks past this guy through the double doors and disappears from view. This guy looks around for a moment as a laborer comes walking in, and he grabs the guy by the shoulder and says, "Look at this. Clean it." And he backs up as the guy sets to work he grabs a scoop off the wall, and he watches, he slowly starts to push it together, and he grabs a rag, and he's there for like half an hour as he's just mopping this shit up and pours it all into a bucket. And the fellow at this point has walked off, leaving just the laborer for the last 5 minutes of his job. The guard at this point has returned and walks past and down into here. Actually, just over to here, where he hangs out and keeps an eye on the vehicle. So it's been about 25 minutes that you're situated amidst the boxes. What do you do?
The mess is fully cleaned up.
The mess is almost fully cleaned up. The guy's just finishing it off, and the guard is back on duty, standing at his post just yonder, while you are nestled in the boxes. So what are we doing?
If I exit the boxes, would the worker see me?
Not necessarily. You can wait until he leaves. You want to just do that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. He picks up the bucket and carries it away down the dark hall, down into the dark hallway.
So that must be where all the storage is. Damn. Car or fuel? You see the guards still guarding the car?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Like he's right next to the opening, like the hatch to get inside of it, right?
No, he's watching it from the sideline.
Yeah, okay.
He's right there. You're right here. That's the name. You follow what I'm saying?
Do I look? Or sorry. I look around for any useful things like maps, like maybe on the walls, tools.
Fuck, you find all the treasure. It's all right here. It was where they kept it the whole time.
In the boxes.
You find a trophy that says you win D&D.
Hey.
That's it. Everybody gains 20 levels and the Tarrasque is dead forever. Good job. Good job, guys.
I'm so good at this game.
It starts raining faces across the world. So yeah, looking around, there's not like a whole hell of a lot here. You can see out of the corner of your eye, if you really look, there's like a workbench down where the car is.
Okay.
Now, anyhow, that said, you are currently nestled in the boxes, so you're not seeing any new information. I just want you to note that.
Okay. So I'll go back to the other room, where the worker was. I'm gonna reopen all the tabs.
Okay. That happens. Roll me stealth, actually. It's gonna be an advantage because buddies around the corner and not paying attention to you.
Okay. I got a 19 and 8, so 19, I guess.
All right. Easily enough, like I say. Do you go back to nestled within the boxes, or do you move on to something else, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I can't see any way I can like. Actually, are they like in the car room? Is there like stalactites with stalagmites?
There are some stalactites hanging from overhead in there.
Oh yeah, it's the guard standing beneath one.
You can't really tell, but it doesn't seem like it. There's a chance.
Dang it. Okay, I'm gonna go into the dark tunnel where the worker took the fuel.
Okay. So just wanted to note that as you are now not nestled in the boxes, and as you are trolling with the fuel, you can see that this area is illuminated as he's coming back, and
The bobblehead or the worker?
the worker's coming back without the bucket, and you can see down into the hall to see all sorts of stuff littered around the chamber. Huh. That's
Stuff
handy.
like very important fuel.
Huh. Forgot I had those too. Interesting. Okay. Sorry. You see random stuff like bits of metal, tubing, wheels, stuff. Let's this right here. Okay, cool. Right. So as you're no longer in there, and might be heading towards the camera panning along to show this place. This guy's slowly coming back. Sans bucket. He's made it to about here. He's in a brighter room right now than you. The point being is, as he's coming towards you, you can see that there's a good chance he's about to spot you, given you are both out very much in the open. So what I need is a stealth check if you want to hide from his sight.
24 in stealth.
Okay. You managed to dodge to the side, running in along to where the wall is, and some those storage chests, like I was saying. This fellow walks past you, and literally just walks right past you, heading back out to his other job here, closing the door behind him. Didn't notice
Did
it.
you notice all the taps on?
No.
Yes! I was kind of worried about that.
With that said, he makes his way past and out into the other room. As you.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk into the dark tunnel where you came from.
Right on. Again, as you walk into the area is lit as you head into it, and as soon as you get in here, you look around with the light on now, and you can see on the one side a shelf full of all sorts of stuff, and a bit of a concrete pathway littered with stains, various chunks of metal, goodness knows what sort of bric-a-brac. The occasional parchment shirt just littered about the place. What's your passive perception?
13.
You can see that there's a hatch just set to the side. Otherwise, the path continues on down into a hewn area. More cave just yonder.
Can I still smell the fuel?
It's wafting down this way.
From the tunnel or the hatch?
From the tunnel.
Okay.
It does smell strange in here. Like metal. Old metal.
Okay. I'm gonna look around the place and see if there's like any like written information about what it is. Excuse me.
It does say do not store anything against the wall on the other side. No boxes here. Keep clear. You can see tread marks, trails of tire residue on the ground here. And the floor in some portions of here is a grill that you can see leading down into the area below, which seems to be a trough of sorts.
Alright. So, first, I'm gonna crease all the papers, and then I'm gonna go towards the tunnel.
You're gonna what now?
I'm gonna crease their papers. It's like
What,
fold
the
them.
random papers on the ground?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I wanna fold them.
You pick up the papers on the ground, stained in fluid and old, dusty, and driven over, and you put a nice, crisp fold in the middle of it. Like a terrible person would, I guess. I don't know. Malignance. Just such malignance.
I'm just really good, guys.
It's at this point that the camera pans upwards and crossfades. I think it's going to be this one. The camera pans against the front facade of the battle bus, as we see the glinting of the bright Kalashite sun. Memnon just over yonder, as you sit on the outskirts of it. As you start to shake off the intense and urgent feeling to drive as the Diasius valvulus relaxes somewhat, its heavy pipes starting to settle somewhat as your throttle foot lifts slightly. You think to yourself, your butt hurts. You've been in this fucking seat a lot. You can't help that. It just comes to you. You're not sure where that thought came from, but your butt hurts. It is what it is. You glance behind you and you realize the situation at hand. And you remember things suddenly as it all comes flooding back over top the sense of urgency you had a moment ago. As you look upon, over your shoulder, at your companions, the small lifeless form of Triggerfinger, as he calls himself, the Cracker, or the Cracked. Poor little guy. The rest of your companions, equally disheveled, bloodied, bruised, certainly not broken though. Proud in their stature as they stand amidst each other, having just survived their harrowing encounter. The battle bus relaxes a little bit, throttling satisfyingly as you shift down and let the engine coast for a moment, unsure of what to do. What do you do?
I mean, I'm heading straight back, at least for my driving. I was heading straight back to the compound because everyone is just jacked up.
In that case,
I think Bjorn is pulling pieces of healing potion out of his beard.
in that case, as I said, you throttle down, letting the engine coast slightly as the battle bus passes through the gates of Memnon. The guards at the gate simply give you one of these as you shunt past, rolling in, slowing down for the pedestrians, camels, business peoples, carpet jockeys, who's to say what's going on in this place. It's the middle of the day. This place is just a roil and a boil. Kids playing rush out of the way of the giant steel tank as you guys make your way, shunting past the massive pipes of the engine, chuffing as they consume what fuels remain in the tank as you steadily make your way towards the Pasha's compound. As you guys round the bend, the engine's still chuffing away idly as you roll in through the gate of... I think this is the one. You eventually come to a standstill in the yard. And cranking the key off, the engine dies out, sputtering to a halt. You find yourselves in the compound, the gate slowly shutting behind you. It seems to all be here as you look out the windscreen and see... Actually, do you guys even have a windshield? I don't think you have a windshield yet.
I think we just have metal, like, layered angles.
Slats, yeah.
Yeah.
So as I said, you look through the windscreen and see the compound's still more or less in one piece. It's seen some wear, it's seen some tear. But as you're situated there, you immediately notice the movement up above. And as you look up at the Pasha looking down at you, he stands on the balcony, fists on the railing as he stares. And as he turns, and he does so dramatically, his robe flowing behind him for a moment, he disappears from view as the vizier comes into view, looking over the edge down at the bus, and gives a shake of his head and lowers his eyes, and then turns around and walks in. The guards in the yard move in upon the bus, and there's at the gate, or sorry, at the hatch of the van. A moment later, they pull it apart. They pull it open, and two of the guys come in. Excuse me, the Pasha would like to have a word. If you would. He looks down at Orion's body. Oh. I am sorry. We will see to him immediately. Hey, yalla.
And I'm pretty much gonna drop them off and gotta go back and pick up Barry. Because you gotta remember, Barry's not there. Barry's at the fuel shop. Like my entire drive, because I was under the influence, was just drive back to the place that we knew. It wasn't.
Yeah, totally. I get that.
So at this point, it's get them all off the bus, and I'm gonna go drive back out to the shop. And I don't see the Vizier as needing much conversation out of.
That's fine,
Laz.
sir. Point being, though, the guards saying what he says, and they drag Orion's body off the bus, pick him up, and carry him away from. From there, the camera pans against Laz, who doesn't get out of the driver's side, and the guards on the bus look towards you and say, "You too."
I'm not done yet.
Nothing's for the Pasha to decide.
I'm not done yet. I'll be back.
They stare at each other for a moment, and the one guy just kind of grips his sword, and the other guy puts a hand on his shoulder. The Pasha will tell you what you are to do next. You are to come with us. The guy just turns around and walks off. He tells his companion to come with. They close the hatch behind them and carrying off with Orion, and I'm assuming Sorth goes, or...
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
And,
Hey, I'm assuming he's probably carrying Bjorn, because Bjorn's really not too solid there, right?
I'm doing okay after the potion.
Did you? Okay, I didn't remember
Yeah.
how much we got you.
so,
Yeah, I'm at like half.
what does Bjorn
Okay.
do?
I'm gonna sling my shield on my back and nod and follow.
So as you're leaving, I'm gonna just kind of hitch up to Bjorn, just say, "I'll bring Barry back."
I'll let the Pasha know.
There's a montage of Bjorn and Sorth and the guards and Lazarus starting the engine back up and rolling the van over towards the gate. As you roll up towards it, though, they won't open it back up.
All right, well, time to go to the roof.
The camera pans against the rest of you as you make your way into the building and up the stairs. Bjorn and Sorth there. Mathis far away inside the Draygor compound, bury him off fashioning fuels, and Laz down below in the van. The two of you ascend the stairs as with a split screen watch Orion being carried over towards the barracks, where he's placed upon a countertop, and the priest for the day comes in towards him. There's a quick little blessing that takes place, and the guy rubs his hands together with a cream and gives Orion a quick baby slap and upside the ass. And Orion snaps awake with a hit point to his name. It's a boy, the priest says. With that, yeah. The camera pans against the door of the Pasha's office as it slowly opens up. And it shows Bjorn standing across the chamber from Hamid. He looks over towards you. In then.
I nod and walk in and find a place to sit.
I'm gonna walk in, but I'll stand.
Am I there? I'm still in the with the priest, right? I'm not there.
As they're talking, you're making your way up towards them.
Okay.
Hang on a second here. I'm gonna dig out a name.
I'd like to note that I now have a scar over my eye. I'm missing my right nostril.
It's hot.
You're missing your right nostril?
Like it's been clipped. Like I still have it, but it's like a piece of it's gone.
I understand. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I took a slash to the face.
Like a half Voldemort.
Yeah.
Shit. I was looking up a name. Sorry.
Like a
Give me a
Tyrion Lannister
name.
kind of scar.
Are we being audited?
I'd like to know that you don't pay me.
Bear with me. Sorry, there he is. Alright. Cool. Sorry, took me a second there to find the name. I've now written it a second time, so I won't have to dig so hard next time. I'm all over it. So, the camera pans against, as you enter in a pond. You can see the hookah neatly tucked away to the side. There is an open bottle of wine, and there's not a lot of wine missing from it. You can see the Pasha holding a goblet in his hand. He's kind of just doing this sort of thing. And he's puts it to his head and takes a bit and looks towards you as he walks over and puts the goblet down on the table. Takes the chair
That
up.
drink would be fantastic. Thank you.
He looks at you with a raised eyebrow for a moment, pulls the chair out, and sits down, and he has one of the servants show up a moment later with a flagon fresh and a couple cups that he places out. And the servant bows out and walks off as Hamid says, I have had an interesting conversation. There were many opportunities given for settling difficulties. However, given the latest... Whoops.
Sorry.
Yeah, right. Given the latest, we have a difficulty on our hands now. I am not certain what to make of the news that I have received. I wish to say that that I understand, but in truth I do not. It seems the Draygors have filed complaint. And he looks up towards Mansoor, the vizier, as the vizier steps forward and gives a nod. And Hamid just stares for a moment. They have... And finally he just like gets angry and smashes the fucking glass, and the glass just flies off. And he looks towards the vizier and he stands up and he walks off towards the balcony and just walks out onto the balcony. Stares out. As the vizier looks towards him and then looks at you. The Draygors have lodged complaint. They say that this is uncivilized violence you bring, that we bring. It would seem that the Al-Jabbar name has been insulted. He keeps staring after Hamid for a moment, and then he says to you, this would not be a problem. And he thinks about his words for a moment, trying to figure out how to say it in common, when Hamid comes back and says, I had the opportunity to have relations with the magistrate himself, with the head of the very Satrapi in this city, and it is gone. That opportunity has turned to smoke. And with it, perhaps, our chances of being in the race. Is it true that you have simply assaulted upon their base? Was there a reason for this? Did they bring aggression upon you in some fashion? Bjorn, I ask you these questions. Why? Why do I receive this? What has happened?
One of ours is dead on the street, and you ask if we brought aggression on them. We went to their base and we delivered Matt to them. He's inside right now sabotaging their workshop.
The magistrate's own person is now within the Draygor compound? What am I to do with this? He sits back down and he just kind of rubs his face and he stares forward. He leans forward as Mansoor Alahad there, the vizier, he steps forward. There is opportunity in this. It is not the end of our chance. We are still registered for race. Al-Jabbar, he is upset for the loss of partnerships. I agree with you. And Hamid something. What good is blood if we are not growing of it? This is bad business. You know this. And Mansoor looks at him and gives a shake of his head. Dishonor.
Blood's only theirs, and more will be spilled.
As the camera pans against Bjorn's face, it shows Sorth inside profile as the door opens up and Orion comes walking in, having recovered. A little worse for the wear from visuals, and we can hear the thundering footsteps of Laz accompanying him. You said you were coming with, right? Or were you jumping the fence or some shit?
Oh, no. Laz was sitting at the gate. They wouldn't open the gate. I was going to the top of the bus to load up the cannon and have a conversation. Hey, Laz isn't leaving Marion outside the wire. That's the point.
No, fair enough. As Orion enters the room, the camera then cuts to show Yeah. To show that.
Yeah.
Not exactly. The camera pans against your face as you stare up towards the wall, the bright sun blasting upon you, painting you white. As we see the reflections of the guards up on top of the wall and you situated behind the cannon. The one says, "What are you doing?"
You see, I picture this being one of those things like where's the stone kind of moment from Usual Suspects where it's like, hey, you can open the gate? Like, no, I'm just going to go down, bring up the thing. You can open the gate? No, okay. Just walk down, grab the cannon. All right, come on. They're going to open it, just start packing the thing slowly. Either you open it or I open it. But I picture this taking a little bit of time. I'm not in a rush to blow a hole in the door. I just really would like to get out, pick up barium and the fuel, and get back.
That's fine. It's during this time that that they'll send a runner then to talk to the Pasha. And so as you're doing this over the course of the montage, the runner's like making his way as fast as he can up the fucking stairs to get to the office. And as Orion enters upon the chamber, this guy will blast in through past you, out of breath, and say, my Pasha, there is trouble at the gates. The mountain man, he wants to blow apart the door. The vizier simply looks over towards Hamid, who, what? At which point the fellow simply, he is at the gates now, sir. He is going to explode the gate. Hamid gets up out of his seat and walks over towards the balcony where he peers down towards you. At which point he shouts, "Oi! What is it you do?"
Barium's still out there with our fuel.
He gives a nod at this. Yeah, he is making our fuel. What is the difficulty?
Leaving him out there isn't good.
We have guards heading towards him. I agree with you. To be leaving him alone would be foolish. His voice carries out across the open yard, the few guards littered about looking back and forth like a tennis match.
Can I hear this as I walk into the room?
100%.
Okay, I'm gonna grab
You all
the
can.
bottle.
Bjorn and Storth can too. Sorry?
I'm gonna grab the bottle of wine off the table and just start chugging it as I walk towards the balcony next to him, and I'll shout out Laz.
That sounds good.
Get in here. Barium is gonna be here soon. Let's figure this shit out and what we have to do next. Don't worry about him. Barium can handle himself. Now get in here, Laz. We need your muscle.
I mean, at what the Pasha has said, it's one of those things like, okay, if I know someone's going to get him, it was just a matter of no one had told me anything otherwise. So, at the Pasha's instruction that there are guards going to protect them and the fuel, I'll go back down and pull the bus around back to the, back to pull it into the workshop and park it.
Sounds fine. Cool. In that case, as you roll the battle bus back, park it, and hop out, the camera pans back up into the office where the Pasha walks off the balcony, past Orion, back into the office area. And looking upon the guard, gives one of these and dismisses him. The guard does one of these and runs off. The Pasha looks at Bjorn and Orion and asks again, I require some sort of argument to make. It cannot be something as simple as that they have killed one of ours. For my understanding at this point is we have killed several of theirs. So in the argument of eye for an eye, we are grossly outside of our justice. So it is with the satrapy. Understand? And he gestures towards Mansour, his vizier as well, and looks at you and says, I speak not for me, but for Memnon's satrapy and laws, that we must adhere to somewhat. As he says this, you can see he's got like a disdain for the idea, but he says it to Mansour, who gives a shake of his head and a slight nod afterwards. Were it not for the investment into this race, there would be no concern for this. However, we are entering a new arena. He picks the words, you can tell, carefully. Sorry, what sword they're in this time?
I'm kind of just phasing in and out, pretty beat up, just somewhat listening to the conversation.
Okay.
Wrong one.
Ooh, very nice. What? Well, I guess there's still gonna be thing. Okay, never mind. So we'll just keep it there. Where was I here? Cool. Yeah. So Hamid says he needs something. He needs a reason for why this happened. He needs some sort of explanation, some sort of alibi. He asks to hear the plan. What was going on?
Ah, the plan. Well, it seemed so much better when we were in the bar making the plan.
The vizier rolls his eyes visibly at this and looks over towards Hamid as he walks in and pours himself some wine.
Long story short, we had a run-in with our friends, the Draygors, while we were consummating the fuel.
Consummating?
I don't know what to say. You know, that's just a word I made up. Anyways, Varian was doing something with his dipstick in the fuel department, and we had a run-in with the messenger from the Draygors, and that it didn't go over well. Needless to say, one thing led to another, and we ended up with one of their little talking stone things, and I'm not sure whose idea it was, but somebody had a brilliant idea to sabotage the Draygors' equipment.
Hamid slowly nodding at this and saying, I am still waiting for the alibi.
Well, the reasoning behind this, as you know, our friend and companion, Gary, was viciously murdered in the streets for no good reason by the Draygors. And as we all know, the Draygors want to see us all dead. They attacked and burned down our workshop and have tried countless times to stop us in our efforts at becoming a figurehead of the Great Race.
The vizier at this point cuts you off and says, we are aware of this. It is the way of things in Memnon. You either survive by your own growth or you die.
Well,
Seems
it's
the
like...
Draygors have died a lot lately.
Yes, well,
He gives a smirk at this and gives you like an air high five. At which point the Hamid, the Pasha, he does one of these at Mansour and gives a shake. We must rethink what we do. Else we will find ourselves pushed to the sidelines, marginalized. Do we want this? Do we want to be small? Or to be made small?
No. But we want to give ourselves the best chance out there when they bring their best to counter us. And a little revenge never hurt anyone.
There's a
it
split
almost got us
screen.
killed.
There's a split screen of you talking as it shows your companion walking through the tunnel, having just put the crease in the paper. I'm assuming Matt would then make his way down the tunnel, yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. So the split screen happening. You're talking to Hamid as this is happening. This is happening. You get to another crossroads. On the one side is a long cave highway that you can see stretching away. And it's got regular torches along it. And in the other direction, it seems to be a stretch of widened cave that smoothly curls around and disappears around the corner. Which way do you go? The cave to the left, the cave to your right goes, it seems, level, if not down. And the tunnel to your left curls around and goes up.
Well, I want to survive, so I'm gonna go up.
You head up. And sorry, Orion, continue.
I'll just, carry on with my long-winded tale of all the shit that happened to get us there, and then I'll kind of wrap it up with him in this kind of way that.
And so you see, if we hadn't been there to stop the Draygors from taking the fuel way back at the auction house, then they wouldn't have bothered to pick a fight. Anyway, sorry.
So, Pasha, listen, I know this has been a great headache, but at the same time, are we not so... How do I put this? Are we not in a position to simply brush our shoulders off and carry on and just pretend like it didn't even happen? Can we not just carry on into the race and let our performance speak for our actions? Do we really have to let the death of 4 measly little Draygors ruin our mood and our team's spirit?
The Pasha looks at you and gives a slight shake of his head and a roll of his eyes, and looks towards Mansour and then says to you, "It will not matter in the long run. You are not mistaken for thinking that it is of no consequence. As I say, and as Mansour says," he looks at him, and he looks at the vizier as he says, "We have the opportunity to grow as an organization, to be recognized within this city as a civilized entity, whether we are or not. We have opportunity there. What we do at the race matters not until it does. However, this is a wasted opportunity. It is unfortunate. Very well. So there is no alibi. We did it for honor. We did it for our own need." And he thinks about it for a moment. Surely there must be some rule that we can use to our advantage. Some excuse
Pasha,
we can make.
We did it for honor. You say that by the laws, the blood price has more than been paid, but if you died and we slayed one guard, would that be sufficient for you? Is your life worth one Draygor guard? Was our companions worth only 4?
It is not the weight of blood. This is the issue. Your argument does not hold any more valid than theirs. Do you not understand the argument you make yourself is flawed in and of its own self? You say yourself, the blood, it has whatever weight it does, and yet, what blood is ever enough? And we know the answer to that. So I ask you this. To whom would these words resonate? And I answer, not the satrapy. They weigh things in gold and papers, parchment, sure. They do not weigh things in blood. This is our issue. If we wish to be upon their level, we must elevate our doings. However, and he looks over towards the vizier, and the vizier looks at him and then looks at you. However, in this case, honor has won the day. And Hamid simply does one of these. Yes, in this case, honor has won the day. Such the honor that we have won. And he just like stares. He turns and looks away from you guys and stares at the balcony. And the vizier looks at him and says, "It is okay. It will be all right. You will still get invited to the fancy parties." And he looks at you and gives a wink as he simply walks away with his glass of wine. And Hamid just looks at him and gives a shake of his head and then looks out the balcony again. The camera pans against you guys for a moment as it crossfades from there to show Barium working away inside of the workshop. There's a montage, actually, quiet, save for the music going and the occasional chuff of steam and whatnot. It shows you guys all working in concert. Why don't you go ahead and make me a a check there, Barium. It's going to be intelligence and your proficiency bonus on a d20.
So 19 plus 3 be 22.
Fucking hell. You guys are doing fantastic. You have basically refined almost all of the material, having mixed it into just a whole lot of barrels of oil like this fuel at this point. Let's see. How many did I say you'd had before?
I do not remember.
It's either 2 or 4, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it was a low number, but...
Yeah, so you guys are just about to break double digits as your 10th barrel comes off the line. And each of these barrels of fuel, Lavash has actually provided you with his own calculations on it. And what's his pickle there? Gento agrees that each of the barrels should be good for pardon me, I'm going to look up the economy of one of these things. Holy shit. Okay, maybe that's too much. Oh, that's what's going on. Never mind. Okay. Okay, so this thing gets you 10 miles a gallon.
Pretty damn good.
So each of these barrels is 42 gallons. That's what an actual oil barrel is, apparently. So 42 gallons, and they're good for... Hang on, let me double check this number, actually. Oh, okay. Never mind. You get 1.2 miles to the gallon. We'll increase that. We'll say you get 3 miles a gallon. And I'm getting this, this is twice and then some, the economy of a M1070 semi-trailer, which is designed to haul tanks. So maybe that's a bit much. Maybe we'll stick with the 10 miles a gallon, and you're breaking 10 barrels, having mixed everything. Now that's 10 miles a gallon under optimal conditions, obviously. So if you've got a lead foot, that's going to drop to half, and if you're just idling, well, it'll probably last a lot longer. But there you go. Any questions there?
Thank you, Tori. Pretty clear.
Okay, if barium's all good with that. You've been working hard and well, working in concert with these guys. A lot of you have managed to turn around quite a few barrels of fuel. With the 10 there, the fellow Gento, he looks at it with satisfaction and says to you that with that amount of fuel, you should be able to do the great race twice. Barring any disasters, obviously. He says also the next and most difficult task is spreading this fuel around the track so that you guys can pick it up when you need it. And then when he says this, he then looks at you and says, unless, of course, you have secured a transport for the fuel alone, like the Draygors.
We actually have not.
Is this an objective of yours?
It is.
He thinks about this for a moment. I may know a person. However, I do not know that they would have the vehicle we need. But I may know a person. The camera pans against your face to show show a couple of the soldiers from the compound come through the become visible in the window as they then open up the door to the workshop. Gento looks over towards the door as the first of the fellows walks in and does one of these. Mr. Morsi. Mr. Barium. Actually, does Barium have a last name?
Never planned for it.
Okay, never mind. Mr. Barium. Mr. Morsi. And Lavash pipes up. I am in this episode as well. So, the guard looks over towards you and says, we have been instructed to bring you home. Will you require anything? And Gento looks at him. We have fuel, you fool. We cannot leave the fuel here. Do you have some way of transporting it? The guard looks over towards you and then at Morsi and gives a shake of his head. But, and then says, however, I have a solution, he says. And he looks behind himself and he says, go find the cart. And two of the guys look at each other and leave. You hear some screaming down the road a moment later, and they show up some seconds later with a cart. The guards look at you and look at each other and then start loading barrels onto the cart.
As long as we can get this back safely, I don't mind how we get it there.
He gives a nod at this. As it's only a moment later that they have all the barrels loaded on, they look at each other and look at Morsi and say, do you have some way of covering it? To which Morsi gives a shrug He doesn't have anything like a tarp or a leather or nothing to cover it with.
Well, we need to find something. We can't be advertising this to the whole damn world.
They give a shrug at one another and say that they have no way of covering it up. Maybe they could just improvise. Throw some old clothing or something on it.
Well, so we make sure the clothing won't fall off on the way.
There's a bit of bantering back and forth as you guys try to figure out some way of solving the issue. Meanwhile, the camera cuts back to the Pasha's office, where he looks towards Bjorn, Sorth, and Orion. And I suppose Laz at this point, who's entered upon the meet. And the Pasha, simply having heard everything out and having discussed things back and forth with the Vizier and you guys, he gives a nod at this and says, so at this point, what am I to understand? That you have successfully sabotaged something? What did you do?
Well, let me just put it this way. The last thing I said to Matt before I closed the barrel lid, in which he was concealed in, after handing him several grenades, was boom.
The Pasha gives a nod at this and then a shrug and looks at Mansour and says, boom. Okay. We will, I assume, hear more when boom. Okay. Okay. Now we just wait for Barium to return with fuel. And then he looks over towards Mansour and the Vizier gives a nod. And then we must disperse the fuels. As I say, I have requisitioned locations for us to refuel at. And he looks over towards Orion and Bjorn Sorth and says, I have managed to arrange for a pit stop around Kalemshan. For while you are doing great race, there will be needs that you must have fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these will be dealt with at our pit stops that I have arranged around Kalemshan. You understand?
Yes.
However, it would be ideal if we had a secondary vehicle, a secondary support. Yeah. He gives a nod at this, satisfied at his use of language. The Pasha looks towards you guys and then looks at his Vizier and says, so that is all our business then.
Well, perhaps one more thing, Pasha. Might I suggest we try and locate a professional driver or two?
He gives a nod at this.
Our friend Laz, he is a destructive force on the battlefield. And he is also a fabulous driver, but when he is tied up behind that steering wheel, how can he, mutilate our enemies?
The Pasha just gives a shake of his head and says, I am not certain why you regale your mountain man to driving the bus. To begin with, this makes no sense. However, yes, I agree. And, Aga Mansour, I believe you have something for this, yes? And to which Al-Ahadi looks at you guys and says, I have a possible lead upon a man who has driven this race before. He is stay here with a visit for family. He is in the market. He over several blocks. He is here for 2 days, however, not long. We speak to him now, and if we are lucky, he come with. Perhaps this works. Other drivers are available, but he is very, very good. To which Hamid looks at him and looks at you and simply gestures as such. What is his name? His name Rico. The vizier simply gives a gesture as such, as that's seemingly all he has as well. He is a small human man.
Very well. Well, that is everything I can think of. What about the rest of you?
As the camera pans against the lot of you, the Pasha gives a snap of his fingers. Gold, he says to Mansour, who gives a nod at this and reaches inside his robe and fumbles around for a moment, pulls out a small sack of coinage and puts it down on the table. And the Pasha says, take this to this Rico. Make him an offer.
I'll look to Bjorn to grab the coins because I know they don't trust me with it.
I'll take them off the table and say, I'll make sure this gets to him.
The Pasha gives a nod at this.
I'll down the bottle of wine, whatever's left of it, put it on the table, and start walking out.
Right on.
I'm just
That
gonna
happens.
follow Orion.
Okay. You follow in behind Orion. It's quite the contrast as this halfling fellow, robed as he is, saunters out the door, followed by this massive scaled green form. Like fucking Godzilla coming in behind the Oompa Loompas. With that said, though, the camera pans against Bjorn as,
yeah, just before I leave, I'm gonna ask the Pasha, Pasha, perhaps if you had a valuable diamond next time one of ours died, we could bring him back rather than having to honor his memory with vengeance.
The Pasha actually looks at you and says, "Who died?" He looks visibly confused as he looks at you and says, "Who of ours died?"
The metal man, the General Assault Yeomanry Unit, or
He gives a nod at
something of
this.
that sort. His face is no longer clear in my memory.
If I am not mistaken, Bjorn, it had no face.
Ah, there's the issue.
He gives a smirk at this. You just. I almost not catch it, huh? But let me say this. He was toy. He was a belonging that I purchased, and you had the opportunity to use. It was a test. And the test was a success, but a failure, huh? It was good while it lasted. But it was a toy. I bought it. It was junk. It was used. Do not think this machine to be a person. It was nothing. It was here and gone as any person, but it was a machine built for a single purpose. You understand this, Bjorn? It was a single purpose machine. Much as the battle bus. In fact, might I say that the battle bus in fact has more use and function than the General Assault Yeomanry Unit had. In fact, the truth is that it has as much use as my poor beloved horse. That still, if I ever find out what happened to that. But in truth,
perhaps
the Getty,
Loran was right.
the Getty was simply a robust horse to be ridden, and now it is much like my horse.
A tool to be discarded, and they'll walk away.
He says, no, for in truth I say this, I miss my horse. But it is not to dwell upon the horse, for it was still just a toy. Was it not? Why do you care so much for this? I ask you.
He fought and bled to protect and aid us, and that's something worth remembering.
He actually leans back at this, and he says, "What do you mean it bled?"
Didn't it? He was seemed more than just machine. It seemed to be as alive as you or me.
He gives a nod at this and says, "Perhaps I should have spent more time in its company. It seemed as if it may have had some capability for..." He looks up at you and says, "Humanity is not the right word.
No, not for that one, but...
And nor is soul."
He, nonetheless, he was one of ours.
The camera pans against your face as you say this, and it shows the reflection of the Pasha giving a slight nod. So be it. So be it. And he takes a slug of his a fresh cup of wine. He just looks out the balcony window, not really paying much attention. You're clearly dismissed if you want to leave.
Yeah, I'll take off.
You give a nod. The vizier actually gives you a nod, acknowledging your departure. And then as you're leaving, you hear and you watch as the vizier puts his hand on Hamid's shoulder. And as he does so, he looks out the window too, and he mutters something to the Pasha, as Hamid just gives a slow nod, and gives a tap on the vizier's hand, and then stares forward with his wine goblet in hand. What's your passive perception, actually?
16.
Oh, never mind. You got a fucking high one. You can hear the edge of audibility. There will be other parties. You will reach the top. So that said, there's a montage of you guys descending down and out of the office, making your way towards the wherever. What do you guys do, actually? You are technically free to leave the compound at this point.
Well, I desperately need a rest. I only have 1 health, so...
That's true.
And I don't think I've slept in the last 24 hours, so I should probably, at least take a nap.
Yeah, I think I've got some dents to work out of my armor, and I need to do some resting on my own.
Okay, sounds good.
Hey, maybe we'll rest until Barium returns.
Sounds fine. Alright, with that said... Let's get some quick cleanup going here and see how fast we can do this. bric-a-brac and jank all cleaned up here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go take a long rest too.
Yes, dude.
Just hide in one of the boxes.
From now on, you are operative Matt. Or Agent Matt.
I'm gonna spend the rest of my life inside that box.
Yeah. Just opening the fuel taps for the rest of eternity.
Just ruining that one poor worker's life.
They don't even have fuel barrels. They just have a bunch of buckets with dirty fuel in them. Fucking, what's wrong with the engine? It's choking on cat hair and dirt, sir. I had this one buddy who'd just pick up janky cars for like $500 a pop and drive them into the ground. And this guy gave like legitimately no fucks. And it was pretty great. Like driving around with him in these jank cars. And I remember one summer there he needed some fuel. Like he ran out of fuel, and we were in the middle of the highway just between Winfield and Kelowna, and there's nothing nearby. But there's a bunch of farms, and he just, for fucking whatever reason, knew everybody. And we're out in the middle of the fucking highway between Winfield and Kelowna, and he's like, "Oh, I got a buddy who lives over here." And it's like, whoa! Like fucking, you're surrounded by farms, you know? Oh, of course, this one over here. Sure, you know the family at this fucking farm. Out of like the 4 on this stretch. Sure, why the fuck not? So, you know, we go up in there and he's like, "Hey, you got any gas?" And they're like, "Oh, well, we don't really have gas because it's all for like tractors and the dirt bikes, and you know, so they got like 2-stroke and whatnot. But then we got this old ass gas that we pulled out of this fucking, I don't even know what, into this jerry can, and it's kind of been sitting here a while. And you can see there's a bunch of silt in the bottom, so maybe don't dump it all the way. So be careful with it. But we got 2 jerry cans of it." We're like, "Great, thanks." So we make our way back to the fucking Honda Civic and dump this shit in. Fucking started.
Hey,
That thing
yeah,
sounded
can't go wrong.
angry as fuck, though. Driving away, it was just the funniest shit. The fucking cylinders having trouble stroking past sand is something else
Oh
to hear.
god.
It's something very interesting to hear. But needless to say, that happened. It was fun. But I never experienced that before. Had a lot of fun with that.
That's so funny. Yeah, I think I might have found us a sub in Rogue for Waterdeep, by the way.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
Do tell.
another Trevor.
Oh really? I mean, why not? We have 2 Alex to share. You white people in your names, get fancy with them. You do things to those fucking things, you know? You just have to give the same one that someone else had. Although I get it. I mean, you like something, so you know.
Yeah, it's a good name.
It is a good name. Okay. No, not
Actually,
a good name at all.
Alex is just much easier to say than my actual name. So.
Fair
Oh
enough.
really? Do tell. What's your actual name?
It's Ole.
Oh really?
Ole?
Yeah, I'm Ukrainian.
Well, there you go. Fair enough. I mean, my name's Abdullah, so just Dooley because it's a lot easier. Because we're
was
so
gonna say Ole.
multicultural.
Wait,
Everyone
you
always
say
says
your
that.
real name's Abdullah?
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
Wow. That's where the Dooley comes from, I guess, eh?
Yeah.
that makes sense now.
Yeah, because we're so multicultural that I hide my actual.
I don't know, it just feels weird to call you Abdullah now.
No shit, eh? When you know me.
Yeah.
I mean, would they tell me if I wanted to sell you a carpet, sir? Let me tell you about this camel. Jockey all the way.
I can say my name is definitely Cody. Definitely.
My name is definitely Rick.
I'm not Ben.
You don't
That's
fucking
good.
say.
Are you Jerry?
No, I'm shit ass.
You're what?
My name is shit ass.
Shit ass.
Oh God. That's your For the King character.
But yeah, don't tell anybody, but I killed the last bet, so and technically I'm the new Ben now.
I mean, that makes sense. You know.
Take the
Well,
throne.
We'll just
At
call
least
you
you
man.
honor. At least you honor what you kill.
Took his face and everything. It's kind of disappointing though. He was actually so ugly,
Bro.
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 Bro. So isn't it getting ugly too?
I love to hearing about some guy named Trevor, and everyone's saying, "Bro, what the fuck did I miss?"
Oh,
Bro.
This went downhill quick.
Bro.
We were just talking about everybody's real name. You know? Like, I'm sure you're not Sean. You gotta be like, I don't even know.
There really isn't a whole lot of things there. It's like, bike is short for bicycle. Like, Sean is pretty much short for Sean.
Sean Hauser.
Shawnigan.
There you go. See? Shaughnessy.
True.
Sean Shank Redemption.
Wow. That's a stretch there, buddy.
I'm slowly coming to the realization that I don't have much drawn out as far as the Pasha's compound.
That's okay.
Well, we've got a 2-level building with a balcony that he can see out to. We've got the gate that obviously you can drive a bus through.
Yeah.
Got enough room inside for Sorth and his casual roommate to have a tent.
Lean-to, actually.
And lean-to.
Built
cook
into the
food,
stable.
and there's room for cattle that Sorth grazes on.
Oh, that's outside.
Yeah.
Oh, that's outside the compound.
Yes.
That's personal business.
There's enough room for the workshop for said bus.
It's gotta be a decent size then, actually.
Yeah.
No, it is actually. It'll all fit on here.
I was kind of picturing like a Walmart parking lot type size, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. With the training grounds and everything.
Yeah.
Does it come with the random campers?
Overnight parking.
No, but if you go outside the compound, you got just as many hookers.
Nice.
Lot lizards.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. That's the term.
Where are they? I'm going out there.
Why are they called that? You should see the
We could learn a lot more from my work. We could learn a lot more about truck driver hours of service if we just had them help us. I'm just saying it's an untapped resource for data. Maybe untapped is not the proper comment.
They're well untapped.
So,
Well
so
done.
are the ones outside Walmart, do they follow Walmart's slogan, always low prices?
Woohoo!
Do they do rollbacks?
Is everything always dropping?
That's extra.
Oh. Oh.
What about
Oh,
price
this is
matching?
We're all going to hell in a handbasket.
And someone's driving a bus.
Whoever gets there first saves seats for the rest of us.
Hey, after all, you want to be with your friends, don't you?
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure that I still have video of me in a bus for a crash test. And I think they called it the bus to hell. I think they actually renamed it before we crashed it.
Oh my goodness, that's great.
Dude, you got to crash test a bus. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a short bus. We were working on rear impacts for cars to see what the override was. So like a bunch of us got on this bus and my buddy drove it and smashed into this vehicle. It was a lot of fun. The guy that drives it is a friend of ours. you'll see him. Like if you look in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most human crash tests, like that's just his
That's
gig.
His thing.
Wow, that's crazy.
Gets in the car and drives into things.
The last bus ride was for a bachelor party. An interesting bus ride.
I'm not gonna try to, beat him in his record.
Yeah, you can have that one.
Alright, sorry about the setup time here.
So good.
Man, I want Warhammer.
Oh, I know, that's so good.
As soon as I saw the trailer, I was like, fuck
All the
this.
Chaos Gods are in it. Oh my god.
We are in bed with Ben right now.
Whoa.
This is an
One night
interesting,
stand talk.
Yeah.
it's an interesting POV we got here.
Get to go everywhere with Ben today.
The experience has truly
He's
evolved.
meditating to our voices right now. Taking it all in.
Maybe different M word.
There's hoping not. Okay, it's Twitch, not Pornhub. It's wrong network, wrong network.
Are you
That's all.
sure?
I mean, I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100%. I kind of suck at this, to be honest. This whole streaming thing.
You're doing just fine.
Oh, thanks, Mom. I mean, Dad. I mean, sorry, who are you again? Where am I? I
Daddy,
didn't know.
oh daddy. Everybody calls me so daddy, but you can call me daddy.
Ooh. Getting all hot and bothered on stream. Now, I wish it was the other networks. What else do I need? I
Oh
don't
my
know.
god, Dad, did you just sub to my OnlyFans?
Oh! You know, it's good to be encouraging, honey. You can thank me and also spread them wider. Come on now. What are you doing?
Oh,
Here, let me hold the camera.
I don't know where I read this, but dead serious. I read about how a lot of girls who get into porn are usually accompanied by husbands, boyfriends, and dads. And I was like,
Oh, shit.
Oh,
what?
Stepdads
What?
or
like one of these is
dads?
not like the others, or shouldn't be.
Yep.
So that was a thing.
Why would you burden us with this knowledge, Julie?
You're welcome. I want
It's
you to
inappropriate.
I want you to know the things that I have to know, that I didn't ask to know.
I thought this was a Christian D&D group.
Buddy.
Have you not read the Bible? I'm pretty sure 90% of the stuff that we've had go on in our campaign has happened at some point in the Bible.
This man's American. You can
I've
trust
never
what he
read it.
says.
Probably.
Face ripping is quite casual. It's quite common.
That
It
might have been one of
happens.
the 7 plagues.
Oh, the plague.
I mean, they did have that whole part of, like wanting to kill all the babies in Egypt, cover the doorway with blood.
Oh god.
I like to
Yeah.
say we would not go that far.
No, totally.
Hey, yeah, okay.
What's the line
Yeah.
when people ask me what would Jesus do, and just remind them that flipping over tables and beating bankers is well within the realm of possibility.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible is a fun thing to read.
In fact, really, beating people up is a pretty small scale in terms of biblical.
Yeah.
Worldwide floods, you know.
You fist fights the least of your worries when all disaster could literally break loose. So this is kind of loose. This took me way too long to fashion for what it is. But you got yourself a 2-story. We got ourselves the gate there. It's actually kind of late already too, and here we are. All right, you know what? In the interest of fucking making it easy on everybody this week, there's a long and a short, quick montage as. Oh wow! When did we get to this fucking song? Sorry, bear with me, guys. One sec. No, sorry, wrong one. Right. There's a bit of a montage that shows Barium hitting the road, wagon crawling away. As you make your way through the city streets. People on all sides trying to sell you stuff. Kids running past. The horses chuffing as they pull the cart, steadily rolling along. What did you end up covering it with? What did we settle on, if anything?
I thought just some clothing that we found. That was the last thing we chatted about. I'm sure the workshop would have like old rags and whatever.
Gento rolls a 2 for investigating and finding something. What do you want to roll? One of the guards rolls an 8. There's a reason you're the hero here, Barium.
What do you want me to roll? Investigate?
Unless you want to come up with something else. It's up to you, really, that way.
I'll roll investigation. I got a D20. 23 total.
Bam. So, with that said, flustered and frustrated at their meager and terrible attempts, you walk past Gento, walk up into the street, turn right down an alleyway, and walk right up to, as if it was just meant for you there, a pile of folded leathers. And pulling the topmost one off, you can see that it's thick, it's huge. You walk back towards the cart, and Gento simply looks at you with a raised eyebrow as you, with a flourish, spread the thing over the cart. It settles down like you were putting a baby to bed, and a moment later, you're strapping the load down. Gento looks at you with one of these expressions, and then just cranks down the strap on the other side, and that's it. You guys are rolling through the city. You watch as guards mill past, city guards mill past the cart. They give you a quick look over, and then look at the next cart coming up behind you. You watch as there's a procession of people making their way down the street just off from where you are. As you continue to make your way along the streets, you hear music erupting out, and you can see banners flying between some of the buildings just off yonder over there. As you continue rolling along, you hear out a sudden scream, the cry of something loud. Oh my god, this thing. As you look around at this, you look out to see the craning neck of a large black dragon. And you see the banners of the Draygors. As he continues to walking along.
Wait, can you turn it down a little bit? You're getting drowned out.
The dragon's screams fill the city streets as the procession continues. Music playing out, epic and wanton, in celebration, it sounds like. The banners flying about. You watch as multicolored confettis and rice fill the air. You can see the chuffing forms of several engines, several platforms rolling along as the massive dragon walks at the head of the procession, proudly. As it stands on its hindquarters and seems to gesture as such to present itself and its complement, it then suddenly disappears as the whole of it transforms away and disappears from view. You can almost see the shifting form of the black dragon silhouette itself as it fades and disappears from view, shrinking down to the street level, where amidst the crowds, even at this distance, you can still see its robust and still oversized human form. Its bald head and flowing black robes walk at the head of the procession as he gestures this way and that with a massive staff and a smile. The tapestries behind him billowing quietly. The people around him screaming raucously. Rice and confetti filling the air. The camera pans against you as you make your way in through the compound's gates, into the compound. The guards disperse from your side. Remember, you had a couple of them with you, so they head back to their posts. One of them heads inside to report to the Pasha. Gento jumps off the cart alongside Lavash as they start to unload barrels with the laborers at the workshop. Ah, that's what I fucking forgot. It's the workshop. Just built into,
The minor detail.
right? Point being, you guys unload the barrels, all 10 of them. The vizier comes over, gives a review of the circumstances, tells you guys of the intent to move everything out. Gento nods in agreement. At which point, camera pans against you as the laborers ask you, what's next? The vizier has already informed you that the barrels will get dispersed in due course. He asks you, though, how many do you think you'll need on left behind to be on the vehicle? How many are you taking with you?
I think we should take at least 3 of them with us.
He gives a nod at this. At which point, he says, he asks if you need anything else of him.
Just make sure everything's in working order. This thing has seen a bit of battle since it was last in.
Okay. As this is all occurring, the camera pans outside the compound to show the form figure of one Mathis approaching upon the compound's entrance. Having had little to no difficulty exiting the compound by way of the tunnel that you'd found, you find yourself behind the mountain range of the just outside Memnon. It's not really fair to call it a mountain range, it's just kind of jaggy hills. But following the road out from there, you soon find yourself on one of the main roads leading back to Memnon itself. You make note of this. It's got a gate upon it and a door that you're easily able to leave out through. However, when you get to the other side of the door, you note that it doesn't have a handle on your side anymore. Now, that said, did you follow what I said there? This is Mathis, by the way.
Okay.
So, in short, to recap, bro, you leave out through that tunnel, right?
Mm-hmm.
You head up the slope, you get to a gate and a door. The gate looks like it could fit a large vehicle. The door, the man door, has a handle on the one side, but as you get to the other side, you see that it doesn't have a handle on the other side.
Okay. Wouldn't have a handle to this side. That's just bad engineering.
Instead, it's got a
okay.
simple keyhole.
Can I look through the cube?
It's black. I mean, you can't actually see through it.
Oh, okay.
You can see it's a pretty simple mechanism. It's not locked from the other side, but the key becomes the handle from the one, if that makes any sense.
Okay. I'm gonna go through the other way then. I don't trust that door. Only one handle. Who does that?
Well, the main gate is there's a lever that will lift that gate, but I will say that you incite the lever will make a lot of noise. The gate will make a lot of noise lifting up. It's the only thing.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Will that other car fit through the tunnel?
What's that?
Would the other car fit through the tunnel?
The other one that drove in through the other side.
Yeah.
It would fit through this gate, but it would not have fit through that middle portion.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Alright. I'm gonna go back and check up on the car with the other guard in it too.
Oh, you're going back in?
Oh yeah, bro.
Man, I just dismantled everything. Fuck.
Oh, never mind then, bro.
No, it's all good. I mean, you can go back in if you like.
Nah, I was just gonna go and take a look at what the title on the car was, but because I kind of wanted to take the car, but I don't think it's possible.
Well,
because I'm
It's
probably
funny you
bad.
should say that because the way you were going, if that's your concern, you do see the other road leading to the other side of the compound. So where that other vehicle came in, do you follow what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So where the other vehicle came in, there's another tunnel leading in. You would assume the same as this tunnel.
Okay, I'm gonna walk through this tunnel then. But first, I'm gonna go check the one door, handle door. Because apparently it's
So
super.
yeah, all it
super
is, it's a
unsafe.
one-way door, and on the other side it's got a keyhole. And by design, the key would be the handle there. So you unlock it, you open it, pull it open, that is, by the key. And then that's it. But from the other side, there's no lock. So it's really just you can open the door from the other side at all times.
Alright. Can I skill and like pick up a bar off the ground and wedge it between so it won't close shut?
You do have like some debris nearby that you can utilize. You find, sure enough, a bit of scrap metal.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll walk through the door and I leave the debris behind so it won't close on me.
Okay. You wedge the door slightly open.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully nobody knows that.
And that's that?
Yeah, I'll walk through the door. Leave the door open a little bit.
Yep, done and done. Now what? Are you headed back to the compound, or are you doing something else?
Oh, I'm straight outside?
Yep.
Damn. Alright, I still need the sabotage stuff. Alright. Okay. I'm gonna go. Damn it. But you already dismantled it.
No, it's fine. You can go back in and do the thing.
Okay, I'm gonna go back and look at the guard and see if he's still there. If he is, I'm gonna look around. See if there's anyone else around and I'm gonna blow him up. Or something.
Okay, number one, yes, the guard's still there. 100% the guard's still there. In fact, there's a bunch of people there. They're now cleaning up the new mess. There's a lot of complaints happening about how angry people are gonna be. But that said, yeah, they are very much. There's a bunch of all the laborers are there, and the guard is supervising them while they clean up the all the fuel that's basically in a pool there on the ground.
It never gets old. Okay. How many people exactly?
So there's the 3 laborers and the 2 guards. Really, they don't have anything better to do.
Damn it. Okay.
The tunnel you're situated in currently is dark, I will state. So you're, if you recall, the dark tunnel that you were located in at that time.
Okay, I have to remember what that other dude said, the really important guy in the ballroom.
He actually just said to clean it up.
Okay.
He didn't say
That's all he said?
Not that I recall. I don't think he said anything else.
Yeah. Because I want to twist his words to make them all leave.
Oh, I see. You want to mimic him.
Yeah. Damn, my memory's absolute dog. Okay. Scratch that then. I'm gonna go and, so that's one we have to worry. This might sound stupid, but I'm gonna go open a huge ass gate.
The main gate out the way that you were at. All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
It shows you.
And I'm gonna go hide.
Yeah, it shows you do so. The gate's open. It's about a moment later the pair of guards comes roaming up. One hangs back slightly as the one carries forth in good tactics, and they survey the area. The camera pans against the scene, and it slowly crossfades to black. This is to be continued.
Matt just fucking with their shit all day.
As the credits roll, there's a montage of the guys doing their thing. I'm assuming you're headed down the tunnel now? That the guards are over here?
Yeah, distracted them with the gate and I'm gonna go walk and trying to sneak past the workers.
Which
Yeah,
happens, and
and
the
car.
workers themselves have taken the buckets and moved them to the sides and gone off to sort crates. So now you're alone.
With the car?
Yes.
Yes.
This is all the after credits scene, I want to state. Credits rolling.
I'm gonna go climb inside of it. Take a look-see.
You do so. It's used, but nice in here.
Just but nice. Okay.
It's got a cushioned seat. It's got a pair of high adjustable pedals. Looks like that steering mechanism with the two levers is pretty well tuned, and you can see it's got a handbrake mounted on and a throttle lever on the other, easily enough.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead. Like, is there like an ignition key that's needed or what?
Well, I mean, you. What's your passive perception?
13.
13, eh? You see a visor. It's kind of looking heavy.
Take a closer look.
The keys are on the visor.
Alright. Then I'm gonna drive the car out of here.
So the keys in this case is actually it's a pretty robust chunk of metal that you just slot into the thing, and you turn it over. The thing fires up to life. As you look out towards the gate, you realize the gate's closed. Or chances are closed. You can't actually see it from where you are. But anyway. Have you ever driven before? I'm trying to think. I don't think the Kenku you've ever driven before. So you can throw me.
I would say I've seen someone else drive.
Throw me in. What do we got here? You know what? Don't throw me a thing. This is the after credit scene. So there's a bunch of this way, that way with the tank as it's aiming to get around, and then a moment later drives up the tunnel.
Okay.
And with
I guess
that,
you saw Laz paddling the other one, didn't you?
Yeah.
he mimics sounds, people. He mimics sounds.
Oh, okay.
Sound.
Actions. Okay.
That said, though, you tear away up the road of the up the tunnel towards the gate. As it cuts to black.
Nice. I sure hope it's not made out of metal. I just crash into it and die.
You didn't even throw grenades. God damn it!
I was really thinking about it, and I was like, damn, I really don't want to die.
I thought you were gonna like light the fuel or something, but no.
I thought you were just gonna check the grenades from the dark.
I'm not gonna blow anything up. I'm just gonna fuck with this poor guy that this shit up every day.
It's like fucking with the janitor, man. Like, come on.
I'm gonna quit his job after this. Just like, I'm done.
I'm gonna say, for the sake of meta and sense of accomplishment, despite meta, but for the sense of accomplishment, you guys basically dumped all their nitro. Like all the stuff they'd mix into their fuels, all the stuff that would give them that extra oomph. Like you have one barrel of their shit. They had however many barrels of the shit, and you just poured out 3 of them. Just dumped them. That was it. Like, fuck you.
Attaboy.
So
Showdown.
I did put that out for a reason. And as far as the game designer's input goes, commentary goes, you did the right thing, kiddo, and take 50 experience for that. So there you go.
Nice.
What was that?
Take 50 experience. You successfully sabotaged something.
Yes.
You didn't blow anything up. But on top of this, I want to point out that your companion has got you guys a vehicle. Another one. You guys literally just stole a vehicle from the Draygors. They're going to be so pissed.
perfectly.
Yeah, I told you guys.
Well thought out, just
The
planned out to achieve
Pasha's
it.
going to have a heart
Yes,
attack.
yes, hold on. And the plan comes up to looking at a bird in the face and going, boom. Then he's on his way. That was the massive plan. No, it wasn't the rolling of the barrel full of him and everything else that was going on. The key was going, boom.
That's right, yeah. By boom, I meant, no boom. Just steal everything and...
Dump their oil and steal it.
That's right. And kick their cow over while you leave, Fuck these guys.
If you could bring it with you, bring it with you.
Yeah, exactly. You're a bird. You like nests. Bring shit with you. Make a nest.
Doesn't matter how careful I am with my keyboards, they get fucked.
Hey, you're always messing with it.
Dude, this is
How
my...
did you go through in a year, like...
This is this year. This will be my first one if it dies. Will be my first one this year.
Like
Otherwise,
2021 or...
last year I think I went through 6 keyboards.
I gotta get in the keyboard business.
Right? Like I'm not even kidding. 6 wireless $40, $60 keyboard sets.
Yeah.
Like fuck, man. This my D&D game has a fucking peripheral budget. It's sad. Like, what do you do? Yeah, so I set this up for a reason, but we won't get to that tonight. That's fine. For the record, the procession that Barium saw of clearly the Draygors and fucking the Draygor dragon, they were going that way. They weren't coming to like the Pasha's compound. They were just like out on parade, out showing off and being awesome. And then
Being assholes.
yeah, kind of thing. Just, they are who they are. They're rich and want to show off. Sylvie. Shonigan, what'd you like? What'd you hate? What's your part was the least?
I actually out of all the things was Matt rooting around and just fucking people. It was not the way that I predicted it to go at all, and I think the result is equally as shocking as the choices. I think it was really cool.
All right. That's it. Nothing further.
Yeah, no, everything else was good. I mean, it's trying to thresh out some of the characters, motivations and what they do. So I think it's always interesting to see that part of it. Although
Fair
I
enough.
am waiting to bash something in.
Yeah, fair enough, and I am sorry for
Oh,
that.
was there a long rest in there in the time that we were waiting for barium or not?
No, but you're getting a long rest now.
Cool.
I mean, not just over the course of, but I mean, Barium gets there while you guys are long resting.
Got it.
Cool. Alex, what'd you like? What did you hate? What was your part? What'd you like least?
Yeah, thought the whole infiltration mission actually going off successfully was satisfying because we've never actually accomplished anything other than fighting people. So
So that part worked out. That's cool.
It's interesting to see that there's an alternative option.
Sorth and I made it in, no problem. We just didn't come to any conclusion.
And yeah, it was fun. It's always enjoyable just watching everyone get to expand on their characters like that.
Fair. Very diplomatic way of putting this session was boring. I will admit, like, the session's like, when you're regaled to the sideline, like, that sucks. I apologize for that. I'm going to apologize, like, repeatedly for that. And I'm not saying that that's what you're saying. That's what I would
enjoyed
say
it.
that. Hey?
It was good. I enjoyed it.
Right on.
Yeah.
No, I would be saying what I'm saying. Not that you're saying this, but That's like, if I was gonna be diplomatic about it, that's how I would say it. It's always nice watching other people develop their characters. It's good. Thanks, Dooley. Love it. Rickard, what'd you like? What'd you hate? What was your part? What's the least?
I agree with what both Laz and Bjorn, or Alex and Sean said. My character hasn't had much to do last session or this one, but I actually am enjoying the Chronicles of Ben. It always seems to make a fun and interesting character.
Get himself into wacky hijinks.
Yep.
Fair enough. Cool. Nothing further. Right on. Cody, what'd you like? What'd you hate? What's your part? What's the least?
I liked how Matt kind of stumbled his way through the compound, but like in a graceful way, if that's the right way to put it. Like he kind of just went like, oh, hallway, like, you know, like, ooh, guard, okay, sneak by you. It wasn't like this planned thing. It was just like, oh, I'm gonna go down here. Oh, I'm gonna open this tap, and he just like fucked their shit up without even really knowing what he was doing. It kind of reminded me
on a stealth mission.
It kind of reminded me of like a crow, like just like messing with shit, like, grab this bottle and drop this acorn on your hood and stuff like that, right? Like,
That's actually really funny. That's fair.
yeah. So
Fair, yeah.
I like that. I was very intrigued by the different demeanor of the Pasha this time around. Seeing that side of him and seeing that, you know, maybe Orion was a little bit right. Maybe he's kind of just in this for himself to gain something for himself. And seeing how he truly felt about Gary was intriguing, even though I wasn't part of that conversation, but it was interesting to hear. And I'm really happy that Varian was able to masterfully develop some fuel for us. That's definitely going to help in the race to come. So,
Nat 20.
yeah, couldn't have been a better time.
Actually, that's very valid. I should keep that in mind that you rolled a nat 20 on that shit. That's pretty fucking funny, actually.
I mean, it matches my character.
Yeah, man. If you're
Very
gonna be
good
doing
work.
anything, right? It was pretty funny. You did nothing for the most of the session, right? Save for that one dice roll that really fucking counted. And what did it come up as? And that's fucking terrific. That's like the fates lining up right there.
Yeah,
So that's terrific.
huge thing too. I'm sure.
Benny, what would you like? What'd you hate? What's the least?
I liked not dying. Especially when I was like, that bald guy was like walking around. I was kind of worried that he might find me. After I flipped their the barrels around, you know, make them lose all their stuff.
Dude, that guy, if he'd spotted you, would have fucked your day.
Yeah, I felt like rolling that one would have killed me for sure.
Yeah, without even a thought, I would have. It would have been kind of embarrassingly fast.
Yeah. Oh, one question though. Does the armed dragon have any open windows?
Excellent question, and yes, it has small vents and a singular tiny rectangle that you look out of when you open it up. Actually, you know what? It's a sliding hatch. You slide it up and you can look out it.
Alright. Yeah, I'm definitely throwing those nades outside.
You're throwing the nades?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
Towards the two guards. Hopefully
Go
they're
down the hallway
alive
as you
together.
drive out.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right, fair enough.
Maybe.
Okay. All right, I didn't know this was like more Millennium Falcon than Adios. You know, thanks for all the fish, signed Julie Newmar. All right. Fuck. It's yeah, all right. That's wholly a different sort of scene actually at that point. Oh my god, this fucking keyboard has
Oh, did I
had.
just fuck myself, bro?
No. I mean, you can make
you have to
me.
rescind that 50 experience now.
So no, I mean you can keep that.
He's no longer a stealth op.
Yeah.
Are you just like hitting the gas pedal and just like?
I'm gonna need a proper pilot check at this point then. Yeah, I mean, fuck what I was saying before. If you're gonna do that to me, then fuck, man.
You can
give me a
still
pilot
die.
check. Yeah, this could still be martyrdom. Let's go for it.
What's the pilot check? I don't see it.
Yeah, so it's pilot ground vehicle, and I can never quite remember, but I think it's strength, and you don't have proficiency.
Yeah, I'm totally fucked, guys. With my luck, I'm definitely gonna die.
People can give you inspirations, and that's where you're gonna be counting on your friends.
Strength check or strength? Just strength.
It's a strength check. It's not a strength save.
Okay. Wee woo at a 3.
Woo! You got a 3?
Fire.
So yeah, that would be
Oh my
Rick's
God.
inspiring you. Come on, roll shit. Come on.
Wee woo at a 2.
Oh
Yeah,
my
baby!
God, what the fuck?
Sweet.
What?
There goes that car.
There goes my life, bro. What do you mean?
Oh my God.
All you had to do was not hit the tree.
Yeah.
For those of you who are watching, there's gonna be a lot of
Go straight.
explosion.
Man, I just really wanted to blow something out, bro.
Oh, you blew something up alright. Holy shit.
Oh man.
As I'm throwing up a nade, it just hits the roof and I
You almost went unscathed.
Oh my God. Oh no.
Oh,
How the
dude.
fuck does that happen?
So in the after credits scene, which goes through some iterations, and there's lots of pieces on the cutting room floor, but in the final iteration, I want odds or evens there. Benny boy.
Even.
As the explosions erupt all around you, and you squawk fiercely, steering as best you can, the massive vehicle, agile and lumbering at the same time amidst the thundering and shaking all around, bashes against the walls as you do your best to keep it under control, do your best to try and make it towards the opening in the distance. Explosions continuing to erupt all around you. Flame begins to overtake your view. Looking ahead towards the opening, the bright light of day, as it starts to dim, amidst the conflagrations, the orange, the red, the twisting steel, the imploding shell of the hull of the vehicle, and the sudden crash of the boulders from overhead that come down through the vehicle's ceiling. And a moment later, the debris that follows it, as the engine gives out and the fuel tank underneath you explodes. The last thing you remember is how warm it is, how bright your feathers are. And a moment later, everything is...
It was going so good. Why did you do it?
It was
Who
perfect.
told him to say boom?
Yeah.
Oh no.
No one to blame but yourself, Cody.
Yeah. You've created a
I'm
monster.
surprised no one... I left it open for somebody else to say it, but fucking nobody else said boom. I'm surprised.
Oh man, I'm just picturing one of those rotisserie chickens at Costco.
Holy shit, man! I end on everything is, and you're like, rotisserie. I wonder if they have barbecue. I like the spice.
Sorth is going to eat Matt.
Oh man, totally.
Benny, I am
Oh,
sorry,
man.
boy. My man, I am.
You know the best part is like the ending. You're like, yeah, you drive off into. The so all
I'm tossing a grenade, yo.
Is Matt like? He's like, yeah, I'm getting out of here, and then it like cuts back and he's like, fuck it, ah! And then he just dies.
Grenades and
Do I
middle
have a time
fingers.
machine?
Do you know what? I will say, credit where it's due, though. The dice rolls fucked you on this, but that aside, you made it through. I wanted to say this before we get to Alex. Sorry, you made it through a basically Metal Gear Solid that you've never played before, right? First time around. You know, you had some help from a couple buddies who gave you a little leg up with the inspirations, but otherwise your dice rolls worked out. You took the easy pathway through. Sorry, not the easy pathway through, but you took the right pathway through and got to the other side. Something to be said for that. How do you feel? Going out in a blaze of glory.
Time to make a new character, I guess.
Woo! Right on. And then the best part about D&D. I'll give you I'll give you Blaze of Glory bonus this time. You can start at the next level.
Oh man, the Magister's gonna be pissed.
Yep.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Can you imagine
Meanwhile,
the talk with Pasha after this?
I'm excited to see what he makes next.
I'll make an even dumber name, I promise.
I liked this character. I'm actually kind of choked.
Yeah, I know.
That was cool.
I was really digging on this one. So that really sucks.
Pushed
I'm
your
very sad
luck
about
too
that.
much.
Yeah,
That was a lot of luck to
Kinda
fucking
crazy how
push.
with inspiration I got a 2.
Yeah, worse than that.
And then I still gave you odds or evens. I still gave you odds, so to speak.
My
And
luck, man.
it came up a 15.
You know what it reminds me of? Wasn't it in Tiny Toons that dodo bird that was always trying to kill itself, or was that another cartoon? No, it was American Dad. There was that one bird he had in one of the episodes, and it's like, oh yeah, these things were extinct, but we, revived it from, fossil or whatever, and it was always trying to kill itself. It was like trying to stick its head in the blender and doing all kind of shit.
That sounds hilarious, actually.
Oh man.
Well,
Matt, we hardly knew ye.
Yeah.
Damn it.
So are we even going to be able to know if he's dead or not?
I was just going to say the same thing. I'm not sure how you guys are going to find out.
Yeah.
Time for a rescue mission.
Damn it.
Dude, we're gonna go there and the walls are gonna be collapsed. It's a big explosion, man. Like,
Yeah, it was. Just in case anyone's wondering why that was, he threw grenades next to those silver tanks. Those are the premix. So that's...
Those are in the room?
Those are the big steel tanks that I described earlier. Those ones were premixed, and you said 2 grenades, and I said, okay, well, 2 grenades, that's gonna fucking detonate them. That's gonna do it. And that was it, man. Like, the point is, 1 grenade wouldn't have done it. 1 grenade, they were steel tanks. They were designed to be durable for a reason. The nitro on its own, mind you, conversely, would have been, twice the issue, but there's a reason that they're up the stairs, set to the side with remote hoses. Like, there's safety protocols, if you will, There's the idea of, these guys are primitive still. The point is that, yeah, there was some thought to that, and then you just said, I tossed 2 grenades. Just okay. I'm good for it.
I'm gonna shoot myself in the foot
I
and
was
the knee.
Well, hey, I was all for the Blaze of Glory. I was totally rooting tooting for a fucking drive out with the explosions
Even
behind
a 10,
you.
even just something.
Double digits, yeah. That's all I wanted. Sadness. So it goes.
The only thing better would have been a crit 1.
Yeah, that would have been great.
The grenades drop inside the cab and you explode and kill yourself.
Forgot to throw it.
Yeah, you just holding it.
Hey, at least I sabotaged more fuel, guys.
Oh, it's brute.
Yeah.
More fuel sabotaged.
It's true.
That's a legend
It is
now.
100% true.
Yep, you're a martyr.
But
We'll
now,
scribble your name on the battle bus now too.
just to get meta about it and tell you guys
once
where
we
my
find out.
mind goes is immediately to think that if you guys just blew away the Draygors' fuel stocks. What's they gonna do?
Oh, we had nothing to do with it.
This is the Magister's guy. We don't know who this guy is.
Well, truth be is the fucking body's gonna be vaporized, so they don't know what the fuck to think of it.
Who left this chicken in here? Find this person.
All they know is something happened, but they could not possibly pinpoint exactly what. Like they're gonna have a lot of difficulty putting two and two together. However, given that they don't give a shit about evidence, and they're gonna go on assumption, chances are they're gonna blame you guys. So just
The bus just showed up there the other day, so
just saying. So at this point, yeah, I'm interested to see what I come up with, because I have no idea yet. I have some ideas, but justifying everything is hard too. So there's that.
How many games did I survive though?
How many what now?
How many games did I survive? Like 3?
How many what now?
How many rounds? Like every week? Games?
Do I run?
No. Like every Monday that we play.
Oh, how many have we played?
Oh yeah, what episode are we on, Sean?
Oh dear Lord, I haven't kept count.
I think we're
I
we're
will
10.
have count shortly.
Didn't someone say that earlier though? How many? I thought you said how many episodes we were on.
I think he said 35, but I don't know if we've done that many.
I mean, I've got 30 something pages of notes here, so we've been playing since October the 5th.
Every week. No, nearly every week.
Nearly every week. Yeah, so like
All of October, all of November, all of December, all of January.
I think since I've started playing with you guys, we've only missed one day.
So count off, it's 4 months.
4 Sundays, ballpark.
Yeah.
16 sessions.
Well, it's
It
4
was
sessions a
early.
month. It's 4 sessions a month, and then how many months is that? And if we've missed 4 sessions, then drop a month.
Yeah,
It's
so
12.
12.
So 12 sessions,
Yeah.
roughly. Yeah. Not bad for a
Opposed.
little dirty dozen. Nice little, nice little
2
campaign so
deaths
far.
and 12 sessions. You're on a roll.
Good odds.
Going for a record.
Oh, you want my
Number
record?
4? Number 4?
And,
What?
and all the deaths are massive explosions too. There's no like it's like
I remember
My-
when Matt
my
first just
records-
played, we're like, I wonder if Matt's gonna blow up.
My records for deaths go like incurring deaths by chance or situation or whatnot is and it partially goes out to my buddy Mike. Years ago, he came in with this is a fucking first session of the campaign. His first character died. His first character was this like noble dude. He'd come up with like a backstory. Like Mike didn't typically bother with backstories and shit, but he liked doing them. He just didn't bother because he was like, "Oh, it's your campaign. What does it matter?" So thanks for that. But anyway, the point is, he wrote one up and he took the character seriously. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get into it." And fucking A. And that character died. Like first round of combat or second round of combat he was in, he fell and he just took too much damage and he died. Like he took too much damage that he died. So that was cool. And then he had a servant, and we had talked about it, and I was like, yeah, sure, you can have a manservant. And so the servant comes in, and I can't remember what happened with that guy, but he died. Same combat. So that was cool. And then and he's the only one. Like everyone else is taking damage, but he's fucking dying, and he's just like he's in bad circumstances, bad luck, bad rolls. It's not his fault. It's just, I mean, it kind of was, later on, but this session it was just bad happenstance, bad chance. So that was the record that I've had is one dude losing 2 characters, ending up on his 3rd in the same session.
That's
on
insane.
session 0, so to speak.
That's my
Pretty
goal.
cool.
Number
So-
4.
So that was pretty intense. That's my worst record, so to speak. Other than that, yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry to see that character go. Honestly, Ben, I'm sorry to see that character go. But I'm wondering when somebody else is gonna die. I'm wondering that. Who am I gonna kill next?
Talking to me, I haven't died the second time.
I've almost died twice already, so.
You, both of you actually. Yeah, it's true. Man, this campaign, it can.
I've played with death, but
I died once, actually, because of that guy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You ended up face down in the die pits.
Yeah.
I always try and be reckless for myself, and then it gets other people killed. And I'm like, what the fuck?
It's classic shit, that though, and it's funny that it's dice rolls that usually dictate that shit.
Yeah.
But so it goes, right? Man, why do you have fucking what is the Besaid player in the background, Rick? What is that? I can't remember his name.
Oh, that's Waka.
Waka, that's it. Waka Waka. The fuck you got Waka back there for?
Just because it's funny.
It is. I'm not gonna lie. He's a handsome looking dude too. I forgot how handsome looking dude.
on his face.
You know.
I mean, it was mostly because Snooter, blew himself up again. So.
So Waka.
He could have. Just that judgmental face.
Oh, fair
He
enough.
He could have
I
just
get it.
let the credits roll. Everything would have been okay. But he had to do more.
I was just thinking about what
It's fine.
I was
I
like,
mean-
damn, I didn't blow anything up.
Yeah, well,
He's just doing what everybody said. You know. Boom.
boom. Yeah. Okay.
This was the mission. He even said it before he left, right? You said before you left, you're like, man, I still got to sabotage something. And then I
You're
said-
like driving out, and you're like, oh, boom, oh yeah.
Forgot.
Maybe his next character is going to be a driver
I'm
There you
curious.
go,
I'm
maybe.
curious to see.
that
Anyhow.
blows us all up.
Well, you guys are gonna go see
I'll
Rico
drive
next
by.
session. I'm assuming is
Definitely
Rico's the
do
next
that.
thing.
Keeping you away from explosives.
Right on. Alex too.
Hey.
Sup, Dobransky? Sup, Dub?
Well done.
So, sir, what'd you like? What was released?
I like this alternate ending.
Yeah, can I change my answer?
Fuck yeah, Take 5 experience. That was good.
Sweet.
Director's
Okay.
cut.
I'm really curious to see what happens with Ben's new character. Should be fun. And I actually really liked the tension between the Pasha and everybody. Like, as soon as we got back, it was like instantly cold. It was really tense, the tense moments. And it's cool to see that our actions from the previous session actually had a bigger world impact.
Oh, fair enough. He wasn't still all just like flowery Guns and Roses.
Yeah. It was
Fair
like, yeah, shit happens. This time he was like, you guys fucked up.
I like having the opportunity to have like the Vizier be part of, be on your side too, right?
Yeah. It's nice to have that for a change.
So right on. No, I like that. Cool. Glad you enjoyed that too, gentlemen. I like the pacing for the most part. I didn't realize what time it was when we started, so we ended up starting a bit later than I would have liked again. But I liked getting through as much as we did. It was actually perfect timing. I spent about an hour with the infiltration, and then we jumped over to you guys getting back and doing the thing, and then jumping back again for the last 15 minutes there, which ended up being actually another half an hour. It was all in all, it was pretty good timing, but we're still finishing off a little later than I would have liked. So, those of you on the East Coast, I do apologize. But once again, thank you for coming out, because it's been my pleasure to be your entertainer and dungeon master with you guys, my palette of personalities. That is my plethora of players. And until next time, gentlemen, may your 20s always land on 20.
Oh yeah, mine definitely went up one.
By the way, nice haircut, dude.
Cheers. Cheers, brother.
Alright.
We'll see you next week, all.
Alright,
See you next new character.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious to see what you come up with there. Oop. I like
I'm
this.
still thinking.
Have a good one.
Later on.
Good night.
Good night.
I don't even know if there's anybody in chat. Do I even have the chat up? No, I have no idea if there's in chat. I should be watching the chat. Do I have the ferry up? No, ferry's not up. Whew. You know what I like about being older with a career and an income and blah 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 is all these different softwares that I use is going and donating to them or buying them and licensing them and etc. Actually having registered software. It's nice. So if you like what you see, I stream every Monday from 7:38 somewhere in there anyhow to whenever we finish, which I usually aim to be at like 10, 11. Otherwise, I'm here for a moment, a good time, not a long time, so to speak. If you have any questions, feel free to fire them away. Actually, I've never paid for WinRAR, but I do use 7-Zip because I have class and taste and stuff. Chutzpah, I guess. Not quite sure. But I have something. Whatever that something might be, I certainly have it. And I'm proud of that notion. I also have a stream. What's that? A platform. Yay. No use for D&D. Only for D&D. Use your powers for good, never for evil. But I seriously did not have the chat up all night. We got a bunch of people in here. What do we got? We got the same, of course, Rick and Sean again, and then we got Abbott Costello. I've seen you before. Where have I seen you before? And another TV viewer. Wait, Abbott Costello, you were in Things stream earlier. Matt's stream earlier, that's right. We got a 10. I don't know if you're a real person. I hope you're a real person, because you're here every week. Commander Root, I know you're not. Bing Cortana, I have no idea. Droop Doggy. Doggy Dog. Feet's not. I'm pretty sure Feet's not a real person. Ildelara? Sure. Joint effort, once again. Saddest kitty. Regular. What up, Stella? Haven't seen you in a while. Stella! Twitch details. I have no idea what to make of that. But Twitch details are in the chat. That's cool. And we got DubPFid5555. DubPFid. WPFid. WPvid. No, I see nothing in that. Is there like supposed to be some secondary meaning to it? I have no idea. It is a code I will never crack. I'm sorry. I'm just not smart enough. It's beyond me. It was a good session all in all. I enjoy a good adventure. I enjoy delivering the story on the level that I do and seeing the interactions that people have. But I hate when it's so difficult to split things up. And sometimes I think about doing like solo sessions, but I hate doing solo sessions more than leaving people on the sidelines. The truth is, I think it's important to have the people along, because then I can split between them. You know, which I kept thinking, oh, we can wait one more second. We can wait one more second. Finally, we get to the point where we split off and we show the other party. But for the time of the infiltration, whatever failures that one of the party members, whoever's conducting this infiltration, this solo jobbo, they can rely on their companions to provide them with inspirations as necessary. You know what I mean? And so to give them that little boost, that chance of success where they wouldn't otherwise have it. And so I think that's a big a big facet of the game in and of itself, you know, as well as seeing the development of, and for other players to see like how this place is laid out, and knowing what it's made up of, and even making suggestions to the player that's actually doing the infiltration. You know, you're part of it. You are a part of it, and I think it behooves the playership to recognize that and to act upon it, to say, hey, look here, look there, that sort of thing, or what's that, what's this, what's the other thing. Not so much backseat driving, but reminding or making the player think further than, because the player is in the moment. You know, the player who's conducting the infiltration, they're in the moment. But this is a role-playing game. It's a turn-based game. You know, you can take the time, and that's good. You know, to utilize, to tap the surroundings. For fuck me, the what is it, that game show there? Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Who Wants to Be a Millionaire would let you reach out and touch someone. You know, call someone, call a friend. So I think it behooves players to remember that. Meta is one thing, but you know, being a team player, I promote that. I don't know. I guess it's a matter of opinion, really. I mean, some players and DMs and folk in general might have differing opinions thereby. They might say, "Oh no, they shouldn't be involved at all." You know, don't be involved at all. It's their story. It's their game. It's their one. And the truth is that's a good philosophy to hold in a case where people are prone to be sort of overbearing upon one another. If they're going to be overbearing upon one another, that's the last thing you really want. That's the last thing you want to have to deal with, is a player feeling like they are, what's the term I'm looking for, is being oppressed, if you will, because another player is making too many suggestions or trying to direct too much upon what they're doing. And so as a result, that player doesn't feel like they have the same agency as they should, and would become, you know, upset or frustrated, dejected by the game. And I mean, nobody wants that. If fun factor wanes, and what's the point of a game if not fun? But I mean, what I try to deliver here is, you know, from my perspective, the opportunity for people to express themselves. So it's gosh, what can I say? But it's a delicate balance. It is. You know, gauging it from either side is like providing people enough agency and not enough agency. You know, curtailing one person in favor of another, that sort of thing. It's what you don't want to have happen. What you want to do is promote another person's agency over the person making suggestions and whatnot. You know, you want to kind of make everything a teachable moment when you're in my role, the Dungeon Master's seat. You know, I shouldn't say my role, but you know what I mean. Not to be pretentious about it or something. It's just you want to, you know, you're sitting in a referee position, is what it is, and it behooves you to be as diplomatic as you can about rules, the tensions, and how to be part of the golden circle, if you will. I mean, there's some jargon there, but the point being is that, you know, the golden circle, for effect, is the playership that is in agreement towards the game. You know, they're there to play the game. They're there to have fun, and then there's other sorts of players. Like, it doesn't mean that you're not there to compete, you know, but you're not there. You're not just doing it because you're not there because you want to get laid. You're not there for a third-party reason, you know, so to speak. Is you're there to play the game. You know, you're playing whatever game because you legitimately want to play the game and have fun at the game. And to be thusly involved in the game is to be part of the golden circle. If you're running around the game like an MMO and exploiting things and cheating and whatnot, that would be to say that you're not part of the same circle. You're not there to enjoy the game in the same way that everybody else is. That golden mean of gameplay, fun, etc. There's arguments there, obviously, but you know, that's effectively what that means, is that you're there to play the same game as everybody else. I was gonna do a thing here, and then it just kind of wasn't necessary. And it wasn't necessary because, not just because it was late, but because it didn't need to be played out. It's good to have a sort of layout in mind and know what's what, but point being, that doesn't work. Whatever. Anyhow, I've smoked enough, I've drank enough, and now I've got to piss. My friends, I thank you very much. It is always my pleasure to take the time after my sessions as such. On a narcissistic level, it feeds me. But otherwise, if it feeds your SMR, I'm glad to have you along. Otherwise, if you're legitimately enjoying what I'm saying, all the better. But until next time, keep fit, have fun. May your 20s always land on 20. Where the hell is... There it is.